I did. It was pain.
Well, there you go. Don't talk.
But yeah, we got Grima, Lynn, and the new legendary for this month. So probably want to knock those out sooner.
Yeah, well, I'll see. I'll try and make time for it.
Yeah, I realize that it's not, too much of a priority because of how many other things there are to do and whatnot. But
I've never really viewed the accessories as anything like very meaningful. It's just like the gold versions of them, and usually, in my opinion, the gold versions of them look kind of funky. So
yeah,
It's literally just my status. There's nothing even remotely special about them.
yeah, nothing really major when it comes to those golden accessories, but they're still fun to have.
Also, hello.
Hello, everybody.
I really don't understand why we have like hurt art in these banners. I know they don't want to rerun the same art, but at the same time, it just makes it look a bit awkward.
I love how Mia's just standing there.
Yeah.
He's just standing there while Mer slaps Dorcas in the back of the head with her Dragonstone.
Right. Exactly.
Dorcas is like, oh, back.
One of the viewers of one of my videos mentioned, did you notice there's 3 Mers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well, it's there's just been a lot. Mer's just coming back a lot recently. It's kind of crazy. She was on the Fury banner as well, wasn't she?
I think
I
so.
believe so.
They do like Mer. They realize we like Mer too, so.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I haven't gotten either of yet, so yay. But nah, I mean, I'm fine with them rerunning Mer. She's a unit I think it really deserve it, and she's not Fate's Awakening,
Yes.
so different audience to pander to.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's Mia. Now that one I'm really happy about as well. Even though her voice actor can be a little controversial at times. I
Yeah.
think that Mia pulls it off quite well.
Well, I don't mind her voice, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Also, hello.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, guys. So like the idea of the stream is like trying to gather some information. So we have like a few ideas for the channel and for streams, and I think, good job, Angel. I think one of the biggest things that I think we want to do is make a podcast, but then it's not completely that simple. So like make a podcast, do it. No. So one of the things we're working on is ideas. So obviously in a podcast you have topics and whatnot. And there's some obvious ones like talking about the current banner, versus the past banner, or just like thoughts on, the progression in the game and whatnot. But we've been talking about making a podcast for like a month or so now, and we haven't like set up on anything because like finding a platform for it is kind of difficult. We might just go with Discord because it's the most simple thing that we have. I looked at Google Hangout earlier as well. And then there's topics, of course. So, for today's stream, I'm going to try and like work out all these things so that we, in the next couple of weeks, we could make these things happen. Do a face reveal at 20k. I've done a lot of face reveals already.
Yeah, just look around. They're all over the place.
What do you mean? It's an emote.
Yeah, among other things.
I'm gonna finish all this stuff too.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Nims, if I was your ideas man, I would be fired within the same week I was hired. I mean, that's why I'm asking everybody. If you guys have any topics for the podcast, let me know. You haven't beat the GHP quest yet? I beat Inferno and then I didn't bother with the rest. So yeah, I'll
Gotta
do that.
get on those, man. I mean, it's not urgent, but still good challenges to get out of the way.
No, it's just Lunatic and hard.
Yeah, Lunatic with the Blessing quest. And there's a couple of free summons, but...
Are you still trying to get El Hindi?
El Hindi?
El Hindi.
Yeah, no, he's... I think you said you were pulling this weekend, Nims?
Yep, this weekend for Helbindi.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably do that soon.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back into Moose Spell, but I also want to keep pulling on Halloween. I'm not sure which way I'm going yet, but I would love Hellbindy.
Do you have a TT bonus unit?
I have 3 Tempest bonus units.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're
Th
fine.
this TT is gonna be super competitive. I think everybody's
Oh,
gonna do really. It's gonna have an easy time.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really say I expect what these Tempests are gonna do now, because every time I look, apparently they defy expectations, but, we'll see. I think this will be fairly competitive, but the bonus units are also a little more challenging to come by, since they're all 5-star locked, except Orcus.
Do my best.
Alright. Okay, anyways guys, if you guys have any ideas, ideally we have somebody stream mod record some of the ideas you guys put down. So who is on right now? I actually can check. It's just TGP. Wow, where are all the other mods?
God damn.
Great.
Ideas for what? We're trying to do a FEH podcast. We've been talking about it for a while now, but
The best mod ever. Boy.
yeah. We've been talking about for a while now, but I think we have a pretty good idea of how this is gonna go. We just need to, you know, figure out some topics first. There's also the idea of like a new series for the channel. It's Moonbow.
Let's go.
And the idea is pretty simple.
Yeah.
You guys send in like GHP or whatever you guys have done that you think is like worthwhile for everyone to watch, and then we'll do it.
All right.
Sorry, and then we'll go over it on stream, and or make a reaction video or whatever on it. I think that's gonna be pretty interesting as well.
Yes.
Screw Armors, the podcast. You know, that could be like a podcast title. I definitely think that's pretty legit. Oh crap. This is so freaking ridiculous. At the end of the turn we lose.
My turn.
This is the second time this caught me off guard.
Okay. Do my best. What can I do? Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think you had a turn.
I don't. The second time.
This is our end. Can I get moves in the chat, please? Maybe mine now, right? Oh, this is only the first HO boy.
Yeah, that's why it pisses me off, because it all. Oh my god, the turn thing. It's just 4 turns.
Yeah, that turn one is a horrific go through the first time.
By your side. Yes.
It's okay. Well,
Here's
like
what I do.
the rest of it will be pretty simple.
Yeah, although, do you still have to do the combined one? The 2 sets?
2
Undoubtedly.
sets?
I mean, like, I don't know which chapters is, but, you know.
But I'll have extra teams.
10. Yeah, true, you'll have an extra team, but if you're losing a team on this first map, it's gonna suck.
Qwerty says Nim podcast seems like the perfect recipe for controversy. I mean,
This part, man.
I guess, but it's okay. It's fun to have controversy.
Yeah. That's a little life. Just as long as it's kept within good bounds.
Maybe talk about ideas for new skills. All right, crap. Somebody has to write this down. I can't like write this down while looking.
Yeah, can somebody write this
understand.
down for us?
Yeah, otherwise this is gonna be kind of pointless. Chance about FEH channels coming. The FEH channel will probably be around for Christmas. I don't think October is a big enough thing for them.
I don't think so, even though they have 2 new sets of new heroes coming out between the calendar's date ends.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be seeing Book 3 just yet. But when we do, they're probably going to have a FEH channel for it.
Right.
Show me
I
the
don't think
way.
we're gonna see it till like February.
We're going to see 3.
Oh,
I think we're going to see Book 3 by December, because if empirical data is correct, last year this
What
is
should
about
I
the
do?
same thing that happened.
Yeah,
Story
I
ended
remember
in
that.
September, and then December was Book 2. Yeah.
Speculations for book 3. That's probably a good idea to put down too.
I think I'll just say this now. Probably gonna have something to do with Loki. No idea otherwise.
Maybe saving Fjorm, because if they intend for, it's gonna be so awkward if Fjorm falls out as a bonus rotation hero, man.
Well, they would also have to outright remove her from your barracks.
Well, no, Gunthrow's dead, so
Yes.
True.
He's pretty dead.
Yeah, she is very
she's
dead.
pretty dead. Yeah.
They didn't get revived either.
Nope. I'm a little.
Yes?
I wouldn't think that they would remove Bjorn from bonus rotation, but if they do, that's going to
I
cause some
understand.
very weird score changes in Arena. I'll tell you that much.
Do you guys think we'll get a Farfetch hero for this year? I'm not certain at all,
Undoubtedly.
actually.
I can't say I'm certain on that.
Onward.
I think they have a chance to do it, but I don't
Okay.
know if they'll do it.
It was like
Let's go.
What?
what do you mean by like define Farfetch?
Yes?
The
What?
The
Dorcas,
Farfetch
Mia,
Okay.
Root, Joshua.
TTPS.
Oh. No, I mean, because you said if they're gonna come up with Farfetch units, I'm like, what do you mean by that exactly? Because
Onward.
Mhm.
I feel
Units.
like
Severe, that's a good
each
idea.
new unit they've been creating, they've all they've been doing is just one-upping the previous ones.
I understand.
Very much different. That's sort of sense.
Wait, who's
Okay.
recording? Because Severe actually came up with a pretty good idea. Another section called New Meta or something like that, where you discuss units or skills that sets you've seen popping up.
Oh, I'm writing it down.
All right, good.
Oh, thanks.
Wait, what was this last one?
Okay.
New meta for
go.
skills.
He wrote it. It's still in the
It's a long
no, I
one.
don't think so. Crap. This is the
I'll
hard
copy
part.
and paste. I'll
Yes?
copy and paste the long ones.
Mhm.
I'm gonna write down
Let's put
the
it this
easier
because
ones.
I'm only
Show me the
keeping up
way.
with Twitch. Somebody should keep up with YouTube.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm stuck on Twitch.
Knows
I've
that
been
FEH needs
taking some
badly.
good stuff.
If we did get Farfetch heroes, 2 Selkie is the 12th amongst women. Is
What
what?
should I do?
What are you? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Onward.
Yeah, no, Selkie is very popular, even though she is a beast unit. I just don't know when they think beast units will ever get implemented.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to say, I'd probably say version 3.
Maybe
That
that's.
would be their quote-unquote best chance.
Oh right. But you know that's actually a pretty good point you guys brought up. Maybe they save beast
Yes?
units for book 3, and the entire thing would be.
Probably.
At some point.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we're gonna get anything new until
Okay.
the third book
Okay.
drops.
We'll get new units, but they're
New
probably gonna be
units,
paralogs.
Nothing,
Gonna be paralogs.
nothing drastically new. Like,
No,
what the
I don't think they would
Emblem
do that
is.
mid-October.
Yeah.
Although we did get some new unit types. Oop, watch out.
Let's go.
Yeah, we did get some new unit types. Blue
I
Archer armor,
understand.
healer flyer. Yeah.
I don't count
Yes?
Well,
using a color picker
Okay.
on a unit as a new thing.
Onward.
nah, it's not too new, but it is still something notable. Like, I think Mia was a unit type that was long
Yes.
since coming. Healer flyers are just very useful.
Okay.
Well, not armored healer.
What should I do?
Well, if armored
Let's go.
healers ever come, they do get access to bold fighters, so,
Okay.
Better be the bold.
Okay.
yeah.
Show me the way. Yes?
That was really
What
close.
should I do?
That... well, you're gonna end up having to lose Olwen, maybe, but...
I get the feel where we might get potential free units this year in book 3.
I think there's a good chance of that.
I think they should probably start out that way.
Yeah, me too.
On
I
our
just
side.
hope that the unit's actually good. Well, you know,
Actually good.
out of the kit, I mean.
I mean, Bjorn isn't the worst thing in the world.
Compared to the others, I mean,
Okay.
I'd say
Yes.
she's probably the easiest to make useful, but she's very much investment heavy, and
What
you know,
should I do?
you have to actually summon her a bunch if you want to make great use of Bjorn,
Okay.
because her stats is just so rounded that she doesn't really excel in anything yet.
To be fair though, like if you're only using her as a bonus unit, like the arena bus will help, and like her basically gets the job done to an extent.
Yeah, although I will say this, I absolutely hate using her as a bonus unit.
Yeah, and it has changed like since the bonus unit.
Hey, Kane actually came up with a great idea. So whenever we talk about training heroes, nobody ever does it because they're like, okay, well that's stupid, right? You could abuse that. So he pointed out, what if you can trade a crown? Like it costs you a crown to trade for a hero, which means you're gonna have a really established account at the bare minimum. Like getting a crown, it wouldn't be easy in the first place.
I think that locking some sort of 5-star or behind crown wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that it would probably be very incentive heavy for people who are trying to shoot for tier 21. It would probably be useful to the whales, and it would make people free to play really have a goal to push for. Of course, this comes at the thing
Show me
of
the way.
Arena's complete bull right now.
Undoubtedly.
Like, the bonus kills are just, they gotta adjust that. But, I think that would make a very nice incentive if using those arena crowns would allow us to have some sort of achievement in 5-star units.
Like,
Although
honestly,
that being said, it would be a very weird system to implement. I
I
think.
would say that
Yeah.
both players need a crown to trade.
Yeah, both players.
Oh,
it,
yeah,
it should
yeah.
definitely be that.
Yeah, both players need a crown if they want to do that.
Yes?
Yeah, they
That was
need to
just-
implement some
Undoubtedly.
heavy
the
limitations
biggest
for that.
problem I have with Arena is not even the fact that
Okay.
they have
I
now a
understand.
tier 1. It's the fact that you basically are forced to use 8 units
Yes?
to get your bonus points.
That's always been my argument. I am completely for tier 21. I think that's something that needed to happen if the meta was to be more competitive. Because right now, well, back then, tier 20 was very stagnant. Like, you're in tier 20 again, whatever, just keep going. But tier 21 now, I feel like I am constantly scrambling between 3 different tiers because I'm unfortunately not quite tier 20.5 material. I've fallen into 19 before. But I like that more so than just flat out staying in some tier.
What should I
That being
do?
said, however, I do not like having to just use one unit to do all the work.
Right,
Bunch
me
of
too.
buffs. I
I
think that
understand.
if they just reduced how much you have to do with that unit, it would save
Okay.
so much pain. And I
Mhm.
think it would actually make it fun. Because the other thing is that Arena right now, well, before was
Show
very
me the
boring
way.
because it's so easy. Especially when you have those buffs on your bonus unit just kind of sitting there.
Right.
So if they were to just, you know, reduce it to 2 kills, I'd say, for any particular unit
Yeah.
during each fight, then it would
Yes.
both allow you to use your actual team and let you use your bonus unit to their full advantage with their buffs. And not to mention, it
Undoubtedly.
would make things easier if your color's screwed by a Hector with your, like a Zelgius with your Ana. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you just Poison Strike spam, you're probably not gonna be able to get Ana to do even 1 damage to Zelgius. So that's just not fair.
I like
Would
the
you know-
ideas you're coming up with, Kane, to use crowns for something, because crowns are the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
They're fun to look at, but they're almost useless otherwise.
Fun to look at. You see it on Faye. You don't even get to wear it.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
at
kind
least
of
let
like
me
the little
wear it.
shiny on the front, but
Or at least have a little avatar of the summoner wearing the crown. Like,
yeah.
give the stupid bird.
Yeah, you just have Faye wear your crown. Congratulations. Now what?
But yeah, it doesn't, like, honestly, it doesn't feel like Arena is Arena. It feels more like a daycare, in my opinion, where you have to get 3 babysitters to take care of one little toddler.
To be fair, the I was already building the free-to-play armors, and they're basically babysitters as it is, but...
Maybe a way to use arena medals for something
Arena assault
besides
feels
weapon refinery?
better.
Would you guys be okay to like if you only
Color,
needed,
you're right. Yeah.
if you could only get 1 bonus kill per?
No,
I think
one
one's
is
too few.
Short.
That's too
One's
easy.
too few. Like, that hardly changes things.
I think
2 is a good middle ground.
I think between 2 and 3. I think third one would be meaningful because a lot of heroes aren't like a lot of builds aren't made to fight like that many heroes. But I think all 4 is too much. I think 3, you push the player enough to make a hard commitment and might make like more choices. I think 2 is
Yeah.
also fine because you know that's more easy for everyone to deal with as well. But
Yeah, I think 2 to 3, anywhere in that threshold. I think 3 would irritate people, but 2 would probably be the most agreeable ground universally.
I think so, yeah.
so Color mentioned earlier another use for arena medals besides weapon refinery, and I gotta agree with that because
I totally agree with that.
what the fuck are we doing for arena medals? Like they've at this point piled on so many that there's nothing to do with the meta anymore.
I'm kind of curious. How much?
I have 22,000.
Right, what the fuck are you supposed to do with 22,000?
That sounds alright.
they're absolutely pointless. Like even our badges and well, even the little badges and the great badges are very useful because of Seal
Who
Refinery.
next?
But what the hell are we supposed to do with these arena medals? They give you what now? 500 every week
My
for the
turn?
arena, and I think that there's 100 for every couple of battles in Tap Battle. Why?
I think so.
I think they
I hope
got
we haven't
too
used that much.
short-sighted. Because when they first put it in the game, they were like, okay, well, players are gonna struggle to get enough to make all their stuff. They literally thought about, well, but in a month they'll be able to make these choices. They never
Yeah.
thought about it like, okay, what about 6 months down the road when people have so many, this literally does not matter. They never thought about it.
Exactly. Especially when you consider, I think that what they tried to do was make it, okay, now you have to do more arena battles. But then they just made it so that you got enough through other quests and stuff where if you just do normal arena runs, you don't even have to try. Like, it's all the refining stones at this point. You don't have to worry about those arena medals for anything.
That's what pisses me off about IS, because they're so short-sighted on so many things. You know,
Oh yeah.
like, man, I don't want to expand into other topics yet, but like, for example, Arena, where they made armor the highest value for BST, and they made Arena points based on heavy factoring from your BST and your skills and whatnot. Like, very little to do with actual strategy and skill.
My turn?
Like, as a result, they force themselves to constantly make armor heroes. Otherwise, nobody cares to like summon for them anymore. It's just so dumb.
I think that,
Yes?
well, obviously merges have more weighting, but BST is what gives you that push to actually make it into the upper tiers.
I think
And
merges.
I kind of realized this, but with the dual skills, at the same time though, I feel like they just dug themselves into such a hole where it's going to take some serious dual skill releases in order for us to actually fully appreciate
Oh
the
no.
arena meta.
I hate what you just said. More dual skill releases.
I mean, easier
know
to
it's
use.
No. What I'm saying
Just
is,
not the right one, just not like Bluetooth cavalry.
no. What I'm saying is, in the future, it won't be the dual skill giving you 5 HP.
Alright.
It'll be the dual skill giving you like 5
go.
attack, and then you're gonna,
Oh,
and then you're gonna have to pay for it. I can already see that coming.
Well, they can't do 5 attack because it's gonna have to be 3 attack, since that's how seals work. Well, the basic stat boosts work.
Right.
And I'm fine with them as long as they're just HP boosts, because then you have to kind of take a little bit of extra HP bulk, but lose your A slot in order to score properly. I think
wish
that
there
the
were
fact that they're 5-star locked really sucks, but at the same time, it feels like the only step they've ever taken in a somewhat right direction
Who
with
next?
arena scoring. But then again, I think I can admit that the Fury meta before
turn?
was even worse.
Okay.
In some
what
ways.
can I
To be
do?
honest, the Fury meta is mostly comes from the fact that IS has failed to give us very many good options. You know, like realistically, we should have gotten tons of other skills that are comparable to
Purely
Fury.
BST numbers.
Right. But man, there's just so many things that this game. It just always feels like if you guys just like paid a bit more attention or thought about it a bit harder, we wouldn't be here right now.
Right. I think that some of the choices they made, they didn't realize the repercussions of them, and it got very quickly out of hand. Like, I don't know how much I could have expected how the arena meta would have turned out day one, but once they started, you're kind of stuck. And it would take a lot of work in order for them to get unstuck without having some sort of outrage over units you've already built, or having to change something that would conflict with Japanese gambling laws and whatnot.
But that says nothing about like, what if they made like a different Fury, right? Like a focus Fury instead of say, you know, 3 on everything. It's like 2 on attack, 2 on attack, 2 on speed, and then instead of 3 on defense, 3 on res, it's like 4 on defense, 4 on res. Like they could have just made small little increments of changes that would have added another layer to the game. But they don't do that. Like they did that for like Swiss Sparrow. You know, you have like Mirror Strike and whatnot. You know, that makes a lot of sense. But they could have done that for other things as well. But you know, because they didn't, people are like stuck. Like, oh yeah, if I want, you know, a stat boost to every stat, this is all I can do. And then that's how we've got here. Like it just gets to me.
Yeah, I think that the main bugger, and IS knows this, is that Fury is just the all-around good skill to have. It shouldn't have to be the only one that units are go-to. I mean, granted, some units don't
next?
do that, like Steady Breath is pretty
Okay.
popular, Swift Sparrow. But if you really just need good stats anywhere, Fury is usually just that stat. You're
My
like,
turn?
that skill, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna use this. And I think that's
Yes.
kind of a bit annoying.
Mhm.
Like,
What can
they've
I
been
do?
releasing a lot of specialized skills recently, like Odd Attack Wave, for example, or the Tactics, which do add in another layer of support. But I feel like their A slots, aside from the Brazens, have been just very.
Wow, he actually
lackluster as
doubled.
Recent. Well,
Alright.
he does have Swift Sparrow.
Yeah. But I'm
Okay.
dropping up for speed right now. All right.
Let's go. What can I
Yeah, big warning. This is probably the one that you're gonna hate. This
Yes?
particular set's probably gonna be very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people were saying,
Who
and
next?
I said myself, too, it should have been a seal instead of an A skill.
Hmm?
The dueling skills.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely should have.
do? Okay.
Yeah, I think the dual skills could do better if they were on other slots. Although I do like having the A slot, because that's
Okay.
kind of the counterbalance, seeing as
What
how
can I
A
do?
slot's your most valuable. You're exchanging
best.
scoring for a better A slot. But at the same time, other slots might be better.
The one thing that gets to me so much
Alright.
about this entire thing is the fact that people are like, well, IS has fixed arena, because
Yes?
now all your heroes can reach 170 BST and everything will be okay. But it doesn't occur to these people that, well, you guys recognize in a couple of months, once we have all the skills for every hero, it'll be the exact same result. Because everybody is just gonna have 170 BST, but it doesn't matter because the armor heroes still have that gap, that little point gap increase over everybody for like the point difference, and that's all that's all that matters. So instead of having like 10-point difference, it's still 2-point difference, but it'll still in the rankings, it'll still be 2,000 rankings apart.
Yep. And it
Okay.
just makes it even harder for
Yes?
people free to play to make it into the whale tiers in particular.
Yeah.
Not just that. but
Also, some of the dual skills are just going to be absolute pains to find in the arena, like Blue Dual Cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, seeing Reinhardt. Well, I mean, he doesn't get Death Blow at that point, but still, seeing Reinhardt in tier 20, please.
Yeah. It also
What can I
bothers
do?
me that this inherently gives armor
Yes?
heroes still a massive advantage, because while our A skill stuck with like HP plus 5, their A skill could be whatever.
Do my
It could be,
best.
you know, and they already have crazy skills, but it could be like Steady Breath, or it could be like, it could be anything they want actually, you know. So that makes such a huge difference as is.
Okay.
Balanced Austrian counter, anybody?
Yeah, Austin's counter,
Who
for example.
next? Yes?
Like, yeah, people think just because of this change, everything's gonna be okay, but I don't see it. I think there's still too much that we have to do.
Yeah, I think we're in a quote-unquote better
Let's
spot,
go.
but at the same time, I think that there was going to be
Okay.
a lot more to be done before it's quite usable in a logical sense.
And
No actually kills.
and the friggin' problem with armor is that they already have the craziest skills. Bold fighter,
Oh, yeah.
vengeful fighter, whatever. They already have the huge advantage. Why exactly does it have to be even bigger? Is what I'm questioning at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I can definitely say that.
What can I do?
Armors used to kind of be seen as a bit of a paperweight. They had great BST, but they couldn't do anything. Now they can do everything, and nobody has to care. It's just we went from armors being kind of useless outside of score bots to just absolute nonsense, and we're not going any closer to making the other move types favorable.
Okay.
Yeah. But the one thing that gets to me is that IS doesn't have to go down this road at all.
Mm-hmm.
They could literally just do something else about it. Like they could just make another mode. You don't have to stay with the arena rules if you just make another arena mode. But they don't do it.
I don't know how I feel about balancing 3 different types of arena, but at the same time, yeah, I think another mode would be very useful.
Well, it wouldn't really necessarily be a different kind of arena. Imagine like they gave you random arena, right? Like you go in there and you just it's like the what are these things called? Tactics drills. You'll be
Yeah.
given a random team and then you gotta deal with your opponent. Like if they did something like that for you, it would be skill-based arena, and it would now be therefore about like, okay, so imagine it's arena and you're fighting arena defense teams, but your heroes you don't get to select. It's just an entire different set of heroes. And so however you do with this set of heroes is going to be like about skill. So something like that. They could do something like that. They don't have to stick with this exact same arena program, but
yeah. I think that a spice to a new form of arena would be nice, although admittedly if I saw in a randomized arena mode, I just have to worry about how randomized it is, because I'm telling you, sometimes their randomization of skills and units and whatnot can be absolute trash. Like seeing Obstruct on a Delthea,
right,
for example.
And I understand that there's a lot of RNG involved, but that's the point. Like, that rewards people for playing the mode again and again. That rewards people for like spending more time in there, and that rewards people for being like more resourceful. So it would be a great option just to have there, just to give players another thing to do, is what I'm saying. But the problem isn't like, oh, that might not work out. The problem is, well, this game kind of needs content like that because it's running out of things to do.
Completely out of topic, but just got Mia, money well spent, mega hype. Sorry for the bother.
Salt Knight, thanks for the donation. Congratulations. I will pull for the Halloween banner as soon as I get Hellbindy, but that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, Hellbindy's definitely a priority.
Hellbindy's been weighing on me for so long. Every single week I'm like, well, I kind of need this.
Yeah, it still has 11 days. I forgot how long the banner is, but yeah, Hellbindy's just, you're gonna need him if you want to keep going in arena, and he's just a pretty good unit even then. But yeah, Halloween definitely after that. Like, those units are fantastic.
Right. So wait, one sec. Asterisk Bandman. You mentioned, what if you got an all monocolor team and your opponent gets up is an all monocolor team and you just get completely fucked over? I think they should make it like kind of like arena, so not in the way of like giving you items and stuff. I think that would make it broken. But another randomization, like randomize you in a certain amount of matches. You have like, 3 randomizations for 7 battles, right? For example, like that. That way, you use a randomization, you get a different team. So something like that wouldn't necessarily completely bone you over. I think there's a lot of ideas that they could do to make this work out better, even with the RNGs. But yeah, go on, Lisa.
Yeah. If you were to, I think that one thing that would be pretty cool is if you had like 28 randomized heroes in a fake barracks of sorts.
That's good too.
Every fight, you have to select 4 of them.
I think that'd be cool. Like, give you like, what?
Or maybe have those 28 heroes be leads of a particular score threshold for different players, even if they're not your friends. That way you're able to just use other people's, hopefully, well-built heroes against actually well-built teams.
We're talking about PvP now.
I think PvP would work, actually.
Oh, I want that so much. I don't know if I want it competitively, but I want it.
I don't know about PvP.
The thing with...
nice.
Okay, wait. I just gotta be clear. With PvP, it's such an interesting topic because in this game, defending is so much better than being offensive, right? Like, your defensive skills and just having your heroes together in a bunch would mess up your opponent. So by that virtue, if you had PvP, there would be a lot of stalling. So it would have... Yeah?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. So by that virtue, if you do PvP in this game, it has to be one person has to attack. So basically, it would be 2 out of 3, and like you guys can flip. There can be like a coin flip, and then this person has to attack. As in, like if within this many turns you have not won the battle, you lose. So that gives them the incentive to attack. And then next battle, round 2, it's flipped. So that way it's fair. And then if for whatever reason both of them won or both of them lost, then there will be a round 3 and it would just be a random flip. They call it flip a coin. Like if it's heads, this person decides if they go first, if they attack or they defend. I think it would have to be something like that. It can't just be literally PvP. Oh, I fight you, you fight me. Otherwise, without some forces pushing you to be offensive, a lot of teams could be built defensively just to destroy people defensively, or to be built to destroy people offensively. Like, and that would just ruin everything.
I think if we do PvP, it'd have to involve something like rival domains where you have to protect the castle.
My turn?
Oh yeah, something like that too.
Yeah. I think that there definitely need to be some objective pushing, whether it be turn limit castles or whatnot. See who can destroy the castle first. That would incentivize more so of an offensive playstyle. At the same time, though, if it was a like friend-to-friend PvP, I don't think that those would be necessary. In a competitive sense, yeah, you'd probably want those. In a friendly sense, maybe just have some rule sets. I don't know.
I think if we do it competitively, there has to be bans. Otherwise, you have like infantry emblem and like the entire team has their special unlock ready for turn 1, and you're like, you go in and you just get attacked and everything dies. So I think you have to have bans if it ever becomes competitive. Otherwise, like
either bans or at least similar scoring systems to the arena, or merit systems where better players are faced against each other by a relative scoring system. Something like that.
Yeah.
A casual sense, you can just do whatever, but in a realistic sense.
Who next?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What if you did this with
Let's go.
brigades?
Brigades. You know, the biggest thing that gets to me is that we don't have like a clan system in this game. You know?
Yeah, that's. I think the friend system is extremely limited.
Yeah,
compared to other games.
I think the friend system is cool and all, but it has to be like more open than that. Like having a guild or a clan or anything like that would, and then you can just fill a brigade with like everybody's heroes, and then you fight other people's like. Yes. What the fuck is what I want to say, because this game can be so much better. Why are we not there?
Yeah. I think that one thing that always bugs me is that Nintendo has very clammy rules what they're allowed to do with social activity, messaging and whatnot, but I think that iOS needs to really start pushing some interesting stuff.
Right.
Even just on the community sense in order to make it better.
Why can't we just leave a message for our friends or something? Like that would make the game so much more fun.
We
right?
can do this.
Something like that. I mean, come on. I think it'd be much better if we could have some actual friend-to-friend contact outside of just, here's your friend code. Yeah, we can use each other's heroes. I can look at what you have for your lead. That's the end of it.
Okay.
Nice.
It's just kind of boring in the friends list aspect.
I'm not entirely sure. I think that goes against like another kind of.
I'm pretty sure
Japanese
that.
law.
I'm not sure about Japanese law. I do know that Nintendo has some pretty clammy policies involving social interaction with their main properties. That's at least from what I remember, so it can be a little odd.
Wow, I didn't take it seriously.
That was not the best way to use that.
Who do you think I am?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, like this is like a really big search, but one of my friends was like talking about like Nintendo and like their social aspect, right? One of the things that he said they're afraid of, and like I don't know if this is actually like a valid thing that they said before, they're afraid of like some kind of like child predator, like that sort of thing happening.
Yeah, that much.
Tomo failed because of that. Because you couldn't talk to people, it failed. Oh my god. I hope they don't make the same mistake. That's too fucking retarded.
It is stupid, but I have seen it in there is some execution of it, Miiverse.
What can I do?
And yeah, the results are showing, unfortunately, when it comes to the child audience versus the adult audience. So I think there would have to be some restriction on it if they decided to go down that route in order to keep it on both sides of the argument.
I get it, but at the same time, like, they failed. Miiverse failed. Miitomo failed because they didn't really allow communication very easily. Like Miiverse, you had to go into the stupid thing, and or like if you just put a post up, a moderator had to check it. Like, oh my god, that's way too much.
Although to be fair, after having seen what it's like on Miiverse, I can understand why they needed heavy moderation. But yeah, no, I feel like Nintendo's policies when it comes to child friendliness and whatnot heavily inhibit what's allowed of their mobile title as far as interpersonal communication and interaction goes. And unfortunately, this comes as much of a detriment to what Heroes is allowed to do. I feel like Heroes should do more, but I don't know how far they're willing to push the bar.
Right.
That's the main problem here.
Yes?
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see more from them involving the community and whatnot, but at the same time, there's just
Okay.
there's some serious law problems
Yes?
that can happen, and
Yeah.
those conflicts, of course, unfortunately have to be accounted for.
The thing is, other games don't go this far. I think
Other
they're a bit
games are
too scared.
other games are also a little less
What can I do?
worried because they're not being headed by one of the biggest gaming companies. That's
I have
also
faith
supposed to
in
be
you.
child friendly.
Well, if they keep this up, if they don't find a better
Do my
balance than this, they're just gonna have failures. The friends
Yeah.
list in this game is one of the. It's so bare bones. Like
Very.
you cannot even
Even
chat with
compared-
people.
Even compared to other Fire Emblem titles and other Nintendo titles, like Fire Emblem Fates actually has a live PvP system for example. And I'm pretty sure that from my experiences, I remember the Pokemon games actually have a voice chat system, as primitive as it is.
Who next?
So it's not like they're entirely unable. It's just the fact that they're afraid, and unfortunately, this comes as much of a problem to what their output is involving that friends list.
I'm
Yeah. I know they have to play safe a lot.
Definitely.
the problem is I don't think Nintendo's that progressive.
I
don't believe in them that
Nintendo and
much.
progressive.
I'll do
What?
my best.
Do you
Dingle
know how
says-
long it took them to take away friend codes, which by the way we still have.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Never understood the friend code thing. Why can't you just search up names and then get a list of people with that name and just add them like that? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be easier. Much
Well,
easier.
now you can with the Switch, but they still have the friend code there for some reason. But yeah, it took them that long to get rid of these digit numbers. But
Okay.
Sony and Microsoft were like, look for this
Yes?
name. There you
My
go,
turn?
friends.
Yep.
Let's go.
Nah, they definitely are behind in
We
some
can
of
do
these
this.
practices. They push some very weird stuff involving gaming hardware and whatnot, but they're very backwards with the bare bones of what a gaming community looks for. That's how I kind of see it.
The way I see it is that Nintendo has the best game developers and the worst businessmen.
Yep. That's pretty
All
accurate.
friends.
They know how to make great games, and they know how to make cool hardware that's changing the paradigm of what video games can do, a la the Switch, the Wii, and whatnot. But when it comes to their actual practices involving their business, they're so far behind Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Even if Sony and Microsoft have their own admittedly very painful problems at times.
When it comes to hackers and stuff like that, I think it wouldn't be very hard to deal with. Cause another thing that a lot of people have been asking for, which would be really, 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 really easy to do, is a replay system. Because all the game would have to do is record this unit with this skill set. Like, it would not take very much data at all. And then they could put it up, and then the game could just replay what just happened. All right.
Yeah.
So they could really easily do something. If they put that system in, and PvP has hackers or whatnot, all you would have to do is just take the recording of the game, send it to support. Support like, okay, well he's cheating, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
They're banned. It would not be hard at all to
go.
stop hackers.
Okay.
I don't know too much about the hacking
Do my
community,
best.
but I do know that they also have an awkward system where they only check for hackers and ban them, I think, at the end of every arena season. So even if there is just a hacker who is hacking stats and whatnot, they tend to be around for at least a week.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it would be a big problem. I think they could figure it out pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that they could definitely, without much trouble, figure that out. They've already shown that they're pretty good at, even without replays, tracking data and whatnot.
I don't think FEH has hackers though. So if ever something like
Not
that happened,
malicious.
yeah.
I think
Well, they do have malicious
but
hackers.
you
I've-
won't see them in arena very, if even at all.
Oh, yeah,
But
no.
There have been some
I've
Just wanted to point
I've
out that
seen
other
people hack
tactical mobile
stats
rebounds
and
for game
units,
have
like, there's this
PvP
guy
and
who
cube
has a
mode,
+10
such
Halloween
picking a
Dorcas
character
right now.
and coordinating yourself with other for
Can I
challenge.
jump in?
So there is no excuse for us to not implement that.
So
I
with
am
the
still
hacking,
not
you
fond
can't-
of
like, you can't go in and
PvP/slash
change your
competitive, but
stats,
coop
right?
on the other
Yep.
hand.
What you can do is you can take units that you already have on the account. You can change it to something else. You can change their merge level, and you can change their rarity.
Yeah.
That's really all you can do.
That's how they do data mines.
Yeah, and what was I saying? Those like just doing that already sets off flags for Nintendo.
Right.
Right.
So it's like every arena season they do a ban wave.
Yep.
And whoever sets off those flags, their accounts just go. Well, like it gets friend banned, which means that you can still play on it, but you can't do like arena and stuff.
Right.
Whoa, I never knew that. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, they don't always outright ban people, and that's how data miners stay.
Hey Nimious, why does your Nino have ETH there? I would put Gale Force on her if I could, but she can't use Gale Force. It's just for points.
Spicy mean? No, I was saying, I think a while ago when the New Year's units came out, there was somebody with 4 cores, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Now, there's always going to be hackers, but they tend to be very benign sometimes. Although I have seen some people who've had their accounts hacked, so it's not like everything is entirely happy-go-lucky with the hackers.
Oh my god, that makes me so sad. When people hack each other's account, and the only thing they can possibly do is send all your heroes home. So they hack your account just to ruin your day. Basically, that's it.
Or actually lock you out of your account. I've read that too.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
guess
I've
that's
seen
good
it happen
too.
before, so it's not like the hackers are entirely, peaceful. They can be pretty nasty.
Aurelian says, just wanted to point out other tactical mobile RPG have PvP and co-op modes. So I'm gonna assume you mean by Nintendo, and such picking a character and coordinating with others for challenge. So there's no excuse for us to not implement that. And that's a good point, because with Dragalia Lost, isn't there an interactive system with raids?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that FEH is just very limited compared to all the other titles that Nintendo's pushing out when it comes to co-op.
Dragalia though has like its own issues, because like in it your team strength is determined by might, right? And each raid has like a different might recommendation, but they don't set like a requirement. So you'll be in like a 28k, 28,000 requirement. So that's set. So there's 4 players, so it's 7k from each. And then you'll get someone who jumps in with like 2 or 3k power.
How do you communicate with each other in that game anyways?
You don't. You have you have like these little stickers that like say nope or good job or like thanks, but that's really
So
it.
Triforce Heroes, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I remember that. That's both of those things are still better than what FEH is putting out, which is
nothing.
No.
They literally have nothing, and that's really embarrassing considering that Nintendo also really likes to push community building, of all things.
No, they don't. They're trying to kill
push it.
YouTube channels. Oh my
true.
god.
Yeah, not in all aspects of the community building, but no, I mean like their games tend to encourage cooperation in
Locally.
general. Local cooperation, sometimes online, but after the recent payment system,
Have you guys heard about how they've made Mario Party?
I've seen it.
I've seen it, and I was like, what the heck is this? It's
great local. Online though.
They're like, you know what would be great if we made this online? Exactly the same as offline. I'm like, what is this? It's so laggy. And when it's not laggy, like, why is split screen made even online you have split screen? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Online split screen. There's no boards from what I last heard. It's just straight mini games.
Yep.
And
Right. It's the sum of the parts that makes Mario Party great.
I think
Yeah.
the lag is bad.
Yeah, the lag.
Probably the greatest bad. It's horrendous. You might as well swim in a pool of molasses.
Yeah.
You would probably get to the end before you finish a game.
Yep.
It's that bad.
Yeah, no, Mario Party is... It's better than the previous two, but there's still some rough edges.
I think Shofu had video showing it, but I believe he's one of those big boys for Nintendo, so he had to take it down. Doesn't know about that kind of stuff.
He had to take it down?
Well, I think he took it down himself because I believe he is one of those like think they're called actors.
Oh yeah.
Shofu.
No
Yeah.
more holding back. This guy
It
is
was-
so
But it
beautiful.
was bad. They were trash talking the entire time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Nintendo doesn't even
Mario-
realize why that would be messed up. Because he's your ambassador, he can't say anything negative about your game. That's kind of messed
Yeah.
up.
That's
Also raise my voice, please. Hello.
TGP, why are you so quiet? I keep raising your voice and people still struggle to hear you.
I don't know. I'm right here. I can
Yeah.
literally lick this mic if I wanted to.
You're the only person at 125% and people are still struggling to hear you.
Honestly, it's probably my mic sends itself, to be perfectly honest. Let me check that out, actually.
It probably could be. I'm hearing you fine at 100%, but that's just probably me.
Honestly, it has to do with the streams, really. Like,
True.
streaming is a different ball game.
True.
Last time I put TGP at 200%, he literally like blanked out everybody.
Gotta find that equal. Seems like that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. And Nimious, can you help me? Guys, if you need help, just say what you want. If I read one comment, the chances of me reading all your comments is really low. So you might as well use your. It's like instead of asking, "Can I ask you a question?" Just ask the question. That'll be easier for me to find. Let's see. The devs probably were told to put online as like kind of last thing, if anything. Yeah, I mean, you know, Mario Party never was built for online, but still,
Right.
like, the kind of effort they put in was horrendous.
Yeah. It's like they want to still push it local, but they wanted to throw in some newfangled online things because Nintendo Online, you gotta push it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It just did not work in any of the right senses.
Have you guys ever played it's a Korean coffee game called Summoner's War?
I've heard of it, but never
I
played it.
heard of it.
That game, like the rates are way worse than in here. Chance of getting a natural 5-star,
Yeah.
and there's nothing like a pity rate. But that game is so popular because it has such like it has a good arena system, and it has a good like a really good clan system. And that's why it keeps growing. That's why the players who are playing it keep playing, and so on and so forth.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there are definitely some strengths FEH has compared to other gacha, particularly in its rates, but at the same time, it fails on so many of the integral parts of a gacha that it's kind of sad.
The problem with FEH is that they're like, you know, you like gambling, don't you, kids? Here, gamble every single month. Gamble lots. And then they're like, but what are, and the kids are like, what are we gonna do with all these things, all these heroes that we gotten? They're like, we have no idea.
Yep.
Because realistically, guys, whatever hero you pull for, you're not gonna use in arena. In arena assault, maybe. And
I've used a good number in Arena Assault.
right, but
Arena, no.
realistically, at this point, how many heroes do you guys have, right? Because you only need what, 30? You need 4 heroes for arena and like 30 for.
28 for Arena Assault.
Yeah.
Reasonably, if you're doing it with blessings, you need what now? 56.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 14 of each blessing.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, it's not completely accurate. Like, of course, ask our trio, Fjorm, and whatnot. But there's just so few heroes that you actually need. But the game just keeps pushing it on you. Why do we not have this? You have this in every other game, basically, where the game basically challenges you to survive as many rounds as you can. Wouldn't that be...
That is a good question, actually.
Right, like a survival mode, and you just fight hordes and hordes and hordes of enemy heroes until you
Yeah,
lose.
That would be pretty cool. Honestly, I thought that was gonna be something like what the Tempest Trials would be like.
Mm-hmm.
Just hordes of enemies. I think that would be a pretty cool idea, actually, to have an infinite mode as opposed to just turn limits.
Right.
That was not a thing in the normal FEH games, Fire Emblem games, which is I think what they were trying to go for with the different game types. But at the same time, I think that actually pushing that would be cool.
But is there a Tempest Trials equivalent in any Fire Emblem game? I don't recall.
7 consecutive maps? Technically yes. All the dungeons, like for example, I really am best at Sacred Stones. The Lag Tower route, for example, is 10 floors of back-to-back maps where you're able to change your teams between maps, but you have to go through the whole dungeon in one run in order to complete it.
Okay.
So there are Tempest Trial equivalents.
Say the
They're just
word.
not
What should I
quite
do?
the same.
But even if that's the case, you don't have to make it like every other game. Come on.
Yeah, no, I think that they need to take some liberties because this isn't a normal Fire Emblem title. It's a mobile title with a competitive system and shorter battles with a smaller map. Maybe accommodate for that a little more.
Kongo says technically rally defense is basically this. I think you're stretching it because for relay defense you lose your heroes after the turn, don't you? So
yeah, relay
Two
defense is
turns.
supposed to be survival, but it's also got a turn. And not to mention, the further up you go, it just gets so much more desperate.
right, the way I see it is like, basically the game starts out like in hard difficulty of enemy heroes, and then it works its way up to like Abysso and then Abysso Plus, and then so basically like, and then you're pushed to constantly use your heroes, and then they die off, and then you gotta reinforce, and then you keep going until everybody is dead. Everybody is dead. I think.
Yep, and you only get 2 turns with a unit, so a lot of things that certs are known for, you only have 2 turns to use them, and they don't have the chance to capitalize.
Right.
Like, you have a turn to position and a turn to attack, and you're gone.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think relay defense. Relay defense is that, because the way I see it, like, what I want is like at the end of it, when all your heroes are dead, you get 2 things: amount of rounds survived, amount of enemy heroes killed. You
Yeah.
know, I think that would make it a
Dude,
really
challenge
worthwhile
book
thing.
1.
Hmm?
Can you imagine that? Chain challenge book 1.
Chain challenge book 1.
Command me.
Oh,
God.
Every single map in
Yes,
book
wish.
1.
Every single map
I
in book
like
1.
that actually.
That would be
Yeah, that
freaking
would
awesome.
actually be really interesting.
That'd be freaking awesome, even
Command
if some of
me.
those maps are really easy. I think
As
that would be a
petals fall.
fantastic long play.
But people forget this. The chain challenges used to take like an hour, if not longer, because we had
Some of them still do.
because we
mostly
basically
it's all
just got
13.
yeah. You're right about that too.
What
Some of them
11,
still
12 so far.
yeah.
You
But
do it and all you get is like 10 volts.
Right.
Whoa.
There you go.
There could be a better reward for it too. I would love a mode like that. The book version of chain challenges.
That would be both insane and awesome at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think IS very well could do that. They're totally... I think it's totally within their purview to do something like that.
And this is why I kind of hate IS, because in this stream of what 50 minutes, we've come up with a shit ton of ideas that they could be doing, and then this game wouldn't have content droughts, and we would have tons of extra things to do with heroes. Like, yeah, sure, some of these ideas aren't very refined, but what the heck? Why do we only have this many modes? Why do we get
Yeah.
something like Blessed Gardens, which is the laziest things that I've ever seen?
But
Man,
it's
these
so
ideas
lazy.
they've implemented or need refined, so why not do it anyways?
Yeah,
Blast
I kinda
Guardians
wanna-
as that's the example.
yeah. I kind of want to hear what IS has to say about a lot of this stuff. Why are they making the decisions they are? That's what I really want.
Mm-hmm.
The one
Hey Nim, I have a
communication we got
question.
from
One
that
sec,
When Mia
how's
originally
donation?
came out, I wanted her and I pulled one, and later on I kept getting her as pity breakers and a free summons. Now that she has a banner, should I whip out my wallet to +10 her? She's currently +5.
That was a long ass donation message. Sorry, I don't want you guys to talk over donation message because nobody hears either of you guys really well. To answer you, when Mio originally came out, I wanted her and I pulled one, and later on I kept getting her as a pity breaker and a free summon. Now that she has a banner, should I whip out my wallet to +10 her? She's currently +5.
Yes.
I would do it because I absolutely adore Mia, and I think she is a top 3 infantry sword hero. I have her just behind Carla and Ira, basically.
I think Celica and Marth have a chance. It's just a little weird.
Yeah,
those two.
Celica is one of the weird heroes. I don't think I think her sword is amazing, but just keeping her at like full HP to constantly use it is like a
Her sword is, if with near an ally, she gets heavy blade. Not, well, she gets blade status. Her B slot is what gives her double iron.
Wait,
And
what-
that's the problem.
I think they were talking about Holland.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if it's wait, no, because they get pity breakers, they can't get pity breaker Halloween units. So they're talking about regular Mia.
Yeah, this is regular Mia. So, I would do it if I were you. If you really want a +10 sword hero and you want to use them in arena, I think Mia's perfect for it. Doesn't she have enhanced BST as well?
Yeah, I think she came out during. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as Gen 2 BST.
Yep, and a special weapon, so she would be a good point getter.
Yeah, she would be about the same scoring as a 165, 169, no special weapon BST bin. Very useful unit, and she's got good stats.
Right.
Like 5140 offenses at neutral is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, where is Carrot Sword? I don't even have that. Carrot Lance and Carrot Dax, why not, right?
I mean, I don't know if I want to see that. It'd be.
I mean, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
At all. It's just for funsies.
Yeah, maybe at some point.
Let's go.
These carrot weapons
We
do
have
have
like
some.
190 DST armor units.
Carrot Sword would, however, mean that Brave Celica could technically stay at 100% HP if she doesn't die from double line. If she doesn't take damage after double line
Let's go.
from an enemy.
All right.
But now I think that if we got a renewal seal, Brave Celica
can I
would probably
do?
be one of the top 3 sword units
have
because then she would
faith
have her
in
own
you.
healing, and with a fire sweep weapon, she could just quad through
Okay.
speed and not have to get countered.
Honestly, I would be really sad. Sorry, this is about something else, but I've been hearing a lot of people say like FEH is really boring right now. They keep this up for a couple months more, and people will literally just quit the game. So, I would be really sad if FEH becomes a failed game.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like Arena's kind of getting a little bit there.
Which is weird because that's exactly what they tried not to do.
I just think they're so fucking retarded because they made it all armor. Everybody's just using armor. You fight the same shit over and over again.
Yep.
And the higher you go, the more of the same shit you fight. So it's like, you just do the same shit every time.
That's the thing. I don't even mind the fact that they're making armor units. I just don't like the fact that they keep on
My turn?
trying to. Every time they make a new one, they try to
Do my
one-up.
best.
Oh, yeah, that's shitty too.
They try to keep going. Basically, say you
do
get
you
legendary
think I
Tiki.
am?
They're like, oh man, she's like great. Cool. Here's my.
Now, Legendary Tiki is a good unit, but Myrrh is so much more.
Yeah, that's what I
min-maxed.
mean. They keep making good units, but then like shortly after, they'll just make someone
next?
either a little bit
Let's
better
go.
or even way better.
And
Yep.
and that's what I've heard
You
from.
should see that.
That's exactly what I've heard from talking to whales too. They can't keep up.
Yep. It is ridiculous how much they are accelerating right now. Then again, for some reason, they really like to accelerate the meta after Choose Your Legends into next year. So I don't know why they'd like to do this all of a sudden, but come on.
Choose
We
Your
literally-
Legends wasn't so
Well,
bad last year.
No, Choose Your
Nowhere.
Legends wasn't bad, except for Ravelin. But that's the point where they like to accelerate the meta, because then we got the Halloween units, we got the Christmas units, we got Fallen Heroes after that. It was like, they just kept throwing out more powerful stuff. And then they kind of calmed down for the summer season, spring, summer, and then they just went right back into it with Halloween and Tiki. It's a weird way of doing things, but it's not very appreciated.
Hold on. Ernesto just said whales can't keep up. Nani, dude.
My turn?
If you plus 10, if you're going to plus 10, like COL came out, a lot of people plus in like Hexer and Ephraim at least because they're freaking amazing. And then that's not to mention a lot of people really like Veronica, and some people even did that because she was the best healer by far. So you right away you spend like what, thousands of orbs, like 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4,000 orbs. Let's just say that. How much is 4,000 orbs in terms of money, guys? I wouldn't know because it's Canadian prices. So you get some.
I don't have Canadian. I don't have Canadian, but
Do it American because everyone's.
Just do
American.
American and then convert it.
No, just do it American. Just let me know.
okay. So let me see. 140 is 7. So like 4,000 orbs. You said.
Yeah.
4,000.
If you're reasonably
that's-
making plus 10, like 2 or like 3 plus 10 heroes, 4,000 orbs seems like very.
That's like 2,175 US dollars, which USD to Canadian.
That's close to 3,000 Canadian, I think.
2,750.
You guys don't need to
That's
convert
about-
it. I just want an American, so.
Oh, $2,750 US, 3,580 Canadian.
Right, and then a couple months later, guys, you get what? And the fact, like, you have small things like, you know, if it's a whale.
Even a couple months later.
Yeah, it's not even a couple months later, but like you have small things like Dual Rally Plus. That doesn't cost you too much more, but that is costing you. And then you have what? Oh yeah, the special Spyro phase where everyone was putting that on stuff, right? And then
They still
before,
are.
yeah, go on.
No, I mean, there still are.
You're right. And then before you know it, you have Legendary Tiki coming out, and then you're like, oh shit. Well, I gotta spend more here.
Do my best.
And then once Legendary Tiki was done with, Mer came out, and you got like 3 more great armor heroes. Like, realistically, even you would have to be like some really well-off person at this point, because the game is asking you to pay thousands of dollars if you want to keep up as a whale at this point.
Yeah.
You inherited your grandpa's land. That's basically what happened.
Right,
It's
something
the
like
only
that.
way to pay for
We can
that.
do
And
this.
not to mention, you mentioned the rallies.
Okay.
There's also Deathblow
Let's
4.
go.
Right.
Guaranteed there's gonna be 4B and 4C skills. Maybe even seals. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, if they start pushing that kind of stuff, it's gonna get a little bit annoying because there's still, because of their trends with what they're doing right now, it's obvious that scoring SP wise is still gonna go up because they can still do so much more.
Mm-hmm.
So every time they release a new skill that completely changes the meta through scoring, like Deathblow or the duels,
I have faith in
suddenly
you.
now everybody has to scramble to have that one skill until eventually they equal out, and then they added a new one. Like, there was a dual rally meta,
Yeah.
now there's a dual rally plus meta.
Right.
Oh,
I'm all for the game taking a step forward too, but this is too quick.
Very. These past 2 months have been nothing but a meta acceleration. Like, I think that we've gone up about 4 to 6 points in the arena cap just from the past couple months alone.
Right. Like, it's one thing for whales, for free-to-play players, you have 0 chance. For dolphins, virtually 0 chance to keep up.
Oh yeah, no, I am not going to be able to keep up with the arena meta. Like, I built the armor trio, the easy free-to-play armors, and after running all the calculations, I don't even know if I have a chance to score
Now it's
optimal
my
enough
turn.
to stay in tier 21, ever.
And I have always hated
What
that
can I
because
do?
who the hell's gonna pretend
My
Drock's
turn.
their favorite character? I mean, fine, somebody
Some
might do
people
it, but
like I know somebody who actually likes it. Doga, where are you?
right, okay, fine, but most people would not like those characters in the first place. So people,
In
the
terms
ask
of
before was
whales-
use characters you don't like to stay in the arena, and now the ask is, well, these characters won't even do these characters aren't enough, so you gotta hope you like save for the Legend Tiki or something. Like it's too
Yeah.
much.
Right? Oh.
No, I meant to say the dual skills are making more like possible, but they're also making it so you have to summon certain units to even have a chance with the ones you like. And then you have to
Shouldn't have been
restrict their A
5-star
slot.
locked.
Yeah, probably not. Although, to be
next?
fair, if they were 4-star, then that would really be too quick. Even quicker than it is
It would
now.
be too
Yes.
quick, but it'd give people a fighting chance.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. I think that introducing these dual skills, they shouldn't make it 5-star, 4-star, because that'd be a
Do my
problem.
best.
Suddenly, everybody's running around with a whole bunch of no idea what's going on, like it is now. But at the same time, I feel like eventually they need to start putting them down to 4-star.
My problem is, I like to see variety. There is no variety in top tier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Not even remotely.
yeah.
Duels at least make the middle top tier, where you might be able to stand a chance in tier 21. That's gonna probably still have some diversity, but even with the dual skills, but yeah, we're gonna need more.
Yep.
I agree. Remember how you're saying like we never actually get any communication from IS?
Yeah.
Their customer support's really good with that, but
Well, I mean like in terms of like announcing stuff, right?
yeah.
like we've gotten one communication from them that I can think of off the top of my head. Do you remember what that was?
What was it again?
We know power creep is happening, and we're taking measures to prevent that from happening.
Wait, they
Oh,
actually
yeah,
said
right.
that?
That was
Yes,
like
they
a Taku
did say
interview.
that. And like looking now and what they're releasing, I can't take that seriously.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I
To say
think
the
that
least.
they're not taking care of power creep. They're taking care of unit diversity in some short manner.
We can do this.
But their perception is very warped.
Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, one sec. I just want to answer this. Kit says there's no point in keeping up the meta. Just play the way you want and enjoy. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have very many competitive things in it. So Arena
Who do you
and
think
Arena
I
Assault are
am?
two of the few things you get every week that would rank you in something, right? So how do you play the way you want when there is no competitive aspect to it? If you can't keep up with the meta, how do you
Alright.
like stay dedicated and like the game if you have reasonably nothing to progress towards? For a lot of people, the game has therefore become gotcha, like just gamble for heroes. A new hero comes out, throw your orbs at them, do nothing with those heroes essentially, nothing truly meaningful. I mean, so yeah, it's
turn.
wearing on people.
Yeah, definitely.
Do my
I
best.
definitely think it's taking its toll at this point, but
And also, if you want to play Lifeburner too, I still refuse to commit to armor. Every single time I've ever done Arena, I hardly ever used an armor unit. I still use Neffy to this very day, even though she doesn't score as high as armor units.
oh yeah, no, some people are in complete defiance of this
You
meta.
just, at some point, it's gonna get to the point where you're like, I just can't do it. This is
Yeah.
just too much.
Yeah, no, I conceded to the meta before it became a problem because I realized IS is going to keep pushing things too far, and eventually what I'm doing right now isn't going to be good enough.
Yes?
So I immediately started building armors, I think in December. Unfortunately, the dual skills make a whole new problem, but at the same time, at least I'm in a better situation than I would have been if I had kept to committing with infantry throughout my entire
can I
arena
do?
season.
And imagine that
My
for
entire
people.
arena run.
Imagine people who did commit to infantry, because you're not
Sure.
you can't play the way you want. And then now they're being told like, oh yeah, all this stuff you did, guess what? You can't actually use this if you want to be successful. So
Yep.
Stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, at most, I think that the most concession,
Okay.
you probably can use one infantry if you use Drog, Sheena,
Okay.
and Gwendolyn. Use one unit in the
Yes.
160, 165, 164 BST bin. That's about as much leniency as you're gonna get,
I
though.
have faith in you.
Yeah, but then that's just a bonus hero.
Yeah.
Unless it's
basically.
Arena Assault.
Alright.
Unless it's Arena Assault.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Arena Assault, I feel like, is a little limiting, but at the same time, it's still much more competitive at the very top.
Happens to be the more fair than regular Arena, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, much more fair. Because you can actually prepare for the fights. As opposed to, if your bonus unit cannot kill this unit, you're screwed.
So
Not
ends
even just
my
that, but
fight.
you don't have to depend on bonuses. Although now that they did recently add that, oh, you can now use the seasons for Arena Assault.
Aw.
I still don't really
You have
care
a
about
bit
the
more
lessons.
freedom with Arena Assault than
Yeah.
Do my
Arena.
best.
Yeah, I think that Arena Assault is far closer to what I would actually want it to be than, you know. I actually legitimately enjoy my Arena Assault. Very raging because I screw
Let's
up one
go.
little issue in the 7th round.
We can do this.
LobsterCon says something really interesting. How would you feel about GHB assault? That sounds amazing.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Okay.
It's just so dumb to me because the game,
I could
there's
do
so many
this.
small things you could do. Like these modes wouldn't take very much time. Why do we not have them?
Who next?
I know, right?
It's like they made Blessed Garden, but goddamn, they could have gone just slightly further and made a good mode.
Do my best.
It's just
Yeah.
yes, please.
Yeah, no, I feel like they kind of almost know what they're doing, and then they just do it completely wrong.
All right.
I will admit that the change that they added to Blessed Gardens was actually kind of cool.
What can I
It's just-
do? I have faith
It's once a
in
week.
you.
It's barely any.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
their miniature
No, I mean,
versions
like-
of
Who
Assault are
next?
cool.
I mean, yeah, the fact that they made it okay, you have to use two different teams to do
It's
it.
all me.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think they
It's
didn't go
so
far
long.
enough. It needed to be longer
Exactly.
than that.
That's
They're not
right.
pushing you at all.
It needs a bit more drive.
Right.
Just that.
Like, not just 2 maps of maps you've already faced before. That just kind of feels a little too dry cut. You've already done this before. Just use these specific types of units, which, depending on what you do, you probably already did it with that team anyways. So what's the big deal?
Let's go.
That's why I'm on Ice's case for these things, because I just feel like so close, but every single time they back off.
Yeah. The one thing that like gets to me more than anything, like about how IS is treating Faye, is this game has actually gotten really, really big, especially for a mobile game. Because like you go on the Reddit and you see people making little like woven figurines. They're making keychains. They're making these little acrylic cutouts and selling them. Some guy even went and made like a card game for Faye. So this game has gotten really, really big and it has a huge fan base. But IS is just letting it rock.
Yep.
It's like
My best.
Yeah.
they have the ball, but they just can't hold on to it. Just keep
Yeah, it's like they have everything that they could ask for, except for a good quality game meta.
I've jokingly said this. Everybody and their moms, their
We can
MILFs,
do this.
played this game at one point, and that was true. Literally, even parents played this game. But if they can't, obviously parents and stuff, they'll lose their interest in due time because they're really not taking that seriously. But there were like really adult people playing this game.
My friend Grandma played the game.
You me out of nowhere.
I was here the
She's
whole
been here
entire
for like a
time.
long time, but she muted herself.
Oh, I mean, okay. Well, should say things, but anyways, it's
Let's
just
go.
it gets to me because they had such a huge opportunity, but they never did enough. Because for adults and stuff, they would recognize imagine this, guys. If you had no connection with a lot of the heroes coming out in the game, and you have like no real care for like the franchise, how do you play this game very long? Right? The game would therefore depend on story, depend on like mechanics and like strategy and things that would make the game fun. But the game has relied far too heavily on the gacha aspect, and that's how they lost that kind of audience. And now they're losing the core audience, the people who actually play the Fire Emblem games or like gacha games and whatnot, because they're starting to recognize too as well that there's just far too few things they can be doing.
Also, like for everyone of those parents that was interested and then lost interest, there's also the parent who actually got interested in that game and then went and played other Fire Emblem games. Because like I talked to a few of my friends who also play Faye, and they actually got some of their parents like dig up like an emulator or whatever. They went out and played the older Fire Emblem games and loved it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think that they in regards to what Faye is able to do, it does encourage a lot more people to invest in these games in the future. But I feel like those people who are just kind of playing casually, like they just want to enjoy the experience, they're not getting nearly their time's value out of it. And as a result, a lot of the more casual audiences are just completely lost on this game. Even if a lot of casual audiences who like seeing Seasonal Kagero 3 times are still coming back over and over again.
Yes?
I like to point out, guys, we're not really whining about this. This is just a fact of the matter. It's like how people feel about the game. It really gets to me when people interpret this like if you share your opinion on the game. The fact of the problem is the game hasn't been doing that well, and like talking about that gets people down. But that's how you should feel, because the game's letting you down. Like, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not like talking about stuff that's like
Let's go.
like I'm not making any of this stuff up. It's actually the general case.
Time for your final bow.
If it bothers you, then I'm sorry, but that's what the topic got onto.
Yeah, no. I think some people hate it when it just draws on for a
What can I do?
but then again, there is a lot that can just be vented off about. I personally am the last one that actually wants to vent on this game, totally. But at the same time, I do have to recognize there are some flaws and point them out. Because the more you say it, the more there might be some chance for a remedy in the very slight chance. So I'd rather that there's a lot more people attentive to what the flaws might be here, than just passively letting them go on without really giving it much thought.
Yo.
The way I see it, we're this is like we're discussing what's wrong with the game. We're doing this and like we're going on and on about it because we want this game to actually like keep going on, right? Like we're passionate about the game, we love it. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we're criticizing because.
I honestly don't have any problem with the game. I just usually play it to summon and then I just mess around with the characters.
I think that's about the only way you can survive in this game at this point. Just like summoning a lot.
Yeah, if you're casual about it, you just enjoy the experience. You enjoy just casually playing through it with your leisure. This is a fine game, but at the same time, you want to expect anything more out of it, you're probably not going to find it. Not easy anyways.
You gotta be casual.
Like, I hate pointing it out, but that's just how it is. Some people literally will just be like, the summoning aspect will just be fun enough, but for me, as happy as I am to get a hero, it comes down to like what I can do with the hero. I've always said I prefer to have a hero with the right IVs than just to have the hero. Like, I'd rather have one hero from a summoning session with the right IVs that I know I'm going to use, rather than like 5 heroes with the wrong IVs and whatnot that I know I'm not ever going to touch, or just fodder them off. Like, that's not exciting to me at all. So it really depends on your perspective.
Yeah, I'm actually more so in the collector's mentality. Like, I enjoy pulling units that I want. Like, my entire Norian summoner my entire Norian banner was nothing but minus attack luck, and I still felt like I got my bang's worth out of it. Like, I think I got 3 minus attack units. I'm personally fine with this, but at the same time I realize that for some people they just collect dust. I just go the extra mile to make sure that doesn't happen, even if it can be very challenging.
Also, it's funny to think about, yes, might enjoy this game more because you're casual, but IS is 100% catering towards the whale and the people who spend money. They don't even care about the casual. At least that's what I think.
Not nearly as much. They make some things that try to get people into it, but at the same time, once you're into it, now they're trying to approach the people who want to stay into it and commit money, commit their entire time to it, in order to give them more.
I was gonna say, I guess you can argue the fact that you can argue the fact that maybe they are catering towards casuals by keep bringing up fates and awakening people.
Nah.
That's how I see it.
They definitely cater. They definitely cater towards an audience that is more so casual on Fire aspect than on the gacha aspect.
But they
I mean, sometimes they make some pretty neat units. They get some people from other parts of the Fire Emblem community outside of Fate's Awakening to enjoy it. I think this Halloween banner is, other than maybe Kagero, pretty progressive in terms of what types of units they allow into a seasonal banner, but at the same time, I feel like they're still very much catering to the people who are comfortable and familiar with a Fate's Awakening cast.
Do my best.
Even more so than Shadows of Valentia, even though it's a 3DS game.
Who next?
I only summoned the Halloween banner because I wanted Murray really bad. I spent $35 to get her.
Let the dance begin.
And she was minus attack.
Ow.
But it's okay. I'm still using her. And Pasta gave me a gold for her, so yay.
One thing I would always like, it's kind of silly, but I would like to see some way to make IVs better in any way possible, so that if you're stuck with like some really bad minus attack unit, minus speed, like maybe minus speed Carla, something like that, you're not going to get screwed out of just completely using them if you can find some way to maybe modify their IVs.
That's why I understand why we don't have an IV randomizer. It wouldn't be too difficult to make it balanced.
It won't be difficult. I just don't know if IS wants to do that.
That's the thing. Like, it makes a lot of sense if they would. Yeah.
The Kotaku interview they did, they specifically said that they had no intentions. This was like early Fire Emblem Heroes, like maybe a half a year in. They said they had no intentions as to that point to allow an IV re-rolling system, but in the future, if they could do that, that would probably be very beneficial. So I'm interested in seeing what their thoughts are on that now.
Yeah.
Also,
I have faith in you.
Oh, thanks Dragon Tony and Bago for this resubbing. Thanks so much, guys.
Oh, going back to like the Fates Awakening thing, like they're putting so many of those units in this game because of like the I guess the player base that Faye has. A lot of people, and this includes me too. Faye was actually like my first real Fire Emblem game, and so like I went back to the very beginning and I started playing the Fire Emblem games like from the very beginning.
Right.
And that's obviously not just me. That's happened to a ton of people. Like there are a ton of subreddit posts about it. A lot of my friends in real life who play this game have also done it, and so on and so forth.
No, Faye is making people want to go back to these heroes, especially when they release like genealogy units. They're definitely making people want to go back, but they're also making people really just comfortable with a Fates Awakening crowd, because what now? Fates Awakening is almost half of our barracks. Half of our catalog of heroes. It's like, it's so familiar, but so oversaturated. Yeah, it can be annoying.
Do my best.
That's just unfortunately how they seem to be approaching that particular side of things. Familiarity before experimenting.
Will Desperation 3 be more useful on Brave Lucina or Celica? Which Celica?
I'll do my best.
If it's the original Celica, I think that Desperation is probably more useful on her, personally. I think Brave Lucina is better off with a Link or just keeping Wings of Mercy before going Desperation. Not to mention, Celica is going to take damage. That's her entire point.
Right.
So when she's in Brazen range, if she has Desperation up, she becomes a monster of a threat to fight. More so than even Belina with a single nuke.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
just how good Celica is.
Yeah. If it's the original Celica, it's definitely that. But if it's not, well, actually both Celicas make pretty good use of it, so yeah.
The other two Celica one has double lion, and the other one has a 100% HP threshold weapon. So, unless you're completely changing the intention of the unit, no. Only regular Celica is actually useful below 100%.
Andy, I think that would be a case, because there's no way for IV randomizers to make sense. It would have to be cheaper than just trying to summon for a new hero. I mean, well, no, the median to get that new hero. Like, for example, if the IV randomizer only costs you 5 orbs, you get the hero and you would just reroll the IVs, reroll IVs, reroll IVs. Whereas for the other person, I mean, of course, there's a benefit of merging the hero and you have another copy of it, and that's kind of different. But it wouldn't be as, like, if all you have to do is reroll, get the hero reroll, instead of like getting like 5 heroes to get the right IVs, you would just be getting 1 hero and spending like, say, 40 more orbs to get the right IVs. So, yeah, in that case, I don't think it will work out.
Yeah, there definitely has to be a significant wall between people buying between getting IVs of the right type. But at the same time, I feel like they need to add some system where that's possible. Because if your IV screwed, you're screwed. What?
Someone in chat said this. What if there's like a currency that will allow you to make like the unit just completely neutral?
That is interesting, because you're right. That wouldn't ruin everything, because, you know, neutral IVs isn't like anything spectacular. But at the same time, that would be far preferable than just having, you know, the wrong IVs.
Right. I still have a pipe dream where one day GHBs either can have more merges or better IVs, but, you know, those are very far in the future and very much unlikely.
To be fair, the merges are they're slowly getting up.
Slowly, but the ones that are in rotation are stuck. They're stuck.
We don't talk about that.
Astra's brought up a good point. What about crystals and shards? They literally have no.
Who next?
Now.
I still use crystals pretty often when I'm lazy, but yeah, using those as a separate currency would probably be useful.
Do my best.
There's a lot of currencies that you just get so much of that at one point they're worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, and you just brought up the perfect word. You use it when you're lazy.
Yep.
Otherwise, what's the point?
I don't even use
before,
it.
Because in order to promote a unit, you'd have to be at least level 20. And that'd be like the way to do it. But now, since you can just promote to level 1,
it is entirely a lazy opportunity. If you just need to be lazy one day, otherwise they just sit in your box. Yeah, no, I think they need to do more to optimize their currencies. I just don't quite know what they can do with the more common ones that would be within reasonable doubt, within a reasonable state, but at the same time, they actually use the currencies to some expensive extent, where you don't have 20,000 arena medals sitting at all times. You might have maybe 1,000. And you're still stocking up for something else.
I really think they messed up on currency.
Yeah, the only currencies that seem to really matter, Sacred Coins and Divine Dew and Divine Stone. Well, and Refining Stones.
The biggest thing they should have ever done was give us something else out of every match we play. So for example, you come out of Training Stratum, you get something else for it. Instead of just like, oh, it ends, Hero Merit Feathers, here you go. There should have been a random factor to it too, for something valuable.
I don't know how valuable they can make that though, especially with how much you can do Training Stratum. I think they could do something, but
I'm just saying, like, there's not enough things to do with your stamina right now. For a lot of people, once they finish all the quests, that's it. If you want to train new heroes, a lot of people don't even have new heroes to train anymore at this point. It's really pushing it.
Dry.
They could try something to make use of our stamina, but they gotta be very careful if they go down that route, because if they push things too far, then suddenly you're just grinding that mode all the time for an absurd amount of reward.
But that's the point, because there's nothing to grind in this game.
Reaching
level 40 should not take you less than an hour. For some people, it takes like half an hour. That makes no sense. That's the highest point you can reach in this game, and it takes you virtually no time.
I do wish that they added like rewards for the stratum, because then like there's more things you can earn from it. Because like for FGO players, you got to do a lot of grinding to get what you want. But I feel like if it had that, people would enjoy playing it more, like to get what they want.
There's a high grind limit, not like just every fight or so you get maybe 50 feathers. That'd be too much. Like I think maybe.
Like they could add like a percentage drop thing, like how like there's a percentage drop for like Phoenix feathers or whatnot in FGO and stuff, so it's pretty fun.
Right.
Yeah. The problem is Training Stratum's 9 stamina, so you get 11 tries per stamina potion, and that might be too much depending. But even if there's like a percentage thing where like every fight's maybe 1 to 2% of a goal, and those goals refresh, maybe like weekly or something, as opposed like weekly Training Stratum quests that actually have a pretty high standard. That way you're constantly making use of your stamina, and maybe don't have those during Tempest Trials, where you're probably gonna be using your stamina all the time.
Let me point this out to, for Cage, who just said there's nothing to grind, but you mentioned TT and Forging Bonds. For both of those cases, it's very, very minimal things that you're grinding for. So for TT, I could grind to top 5k within like, you know, first couple of days, and that's it, and I could just stay there. To spend like substantially more time, more stamina would only get me 2,000 more hero feathers. That is already hardly worth it. But yes, you're right, we could grind that out. Or we could grind Forging, or like, and then it's Forging Bonds after. And while Forging Bonds, yes, it does take resources, it does take stamina, you get through the grinding within like, what? You wait for that 2x to happen, and then you grind for 20 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's also the Forging Bonds, like the rewards from it kind of suck.
The daily rewards are fine. I'm fine with
yeah,
getting,
like the daily rewards are.
You get
like,
18 orbs cumulative, but at the same time, I feel like locking 1 orb by the end of everything just kind of feels silly. Like, congratulations, you have grinded 3. Here's a single orb.
Yeah, that always sucked to me too. I was thinking to myself, I like the idea of Forging Bonds. I think it's one of the best modes they've made in the game so far. Like, the story is really lackluster and plain, and they're trying to make you feel really good about it. Sure, but still, that's better than a lot of things that we've gotten so far in the game, so I won't argue about that.
Okay, let's go.
But even then, like, they need a better incremental system here. I like the idea because it's more complete. There's a reward, there's a story reward, and you can even use it to grind up SP, EXP, or whatever. You know, that's good. That's the right track, but it needs to have a bit more depth.
I still kind of wish that they had like a story mode or chain challenge co-op thing. 'Cause I feel like it would be fun testing your teammates with your other friends'
Do
units.
my best.
Or like I feel like that would never happen.
Like, can I run an idea by you guys real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So like, what about like an infinitely scaling like Tempest trial or something that resets every couple of weeks, like every month or every week or so? So the rewards, like, they stay relatively the same, but it can keep climbing up and up and up and up, and you'll keep getting rewards. You keep getting like hero merit, etc., etc. But then it resets every week. So every week you have to go through it again, get as high as you can, and then it resets.
I like that idea. I like the idea of this game asking players to play more than, well, giving people the option to play more than just like, for most people, I think they just log in, burn through their stamina within like 20 minutes, and that's it. That's, do all dailies, burn through your stamina, and that takes like 20, 30 minutes, that's it.
I wish it was a co-op.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it.
Yeah.
That's not good enough, is what I'm saying. Like, there should be more depth to that. The game should be at, like, if you want to play more and if you want to do more, there should be stuff to do. Like, right now, guys, for a lot of you guys, you're like, okay, well, you know, you can hero merit grind and, like, you know, in RAL domains or something, but that is not good enough.
No, I think there definitely needs to be a little
Right.
grinding resources that I basically.
You keep cutting out, Legion.
Sorry about that.
So Omega Tempest says, at this point I only do my quests and I don't play for the rest of the day. Yeah, and if I wasn't streaming, that's basically me as well, so I completely understand. The thing is, the reason why I fell in love with Fire Emblem Heroes was because in the start, when we first started playing the game, I remember the first day I got to like level 20, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then like second day I got to level 28. Like, you could not get to level 40 very quickly. It was rough. It was tough. Like it, and at that time, even though there was no SI and stuff, learning your skills and getting SP for it wasn't so easy. The game has gotten so much easier at this point that, you know, spending time on the game is not necessary. Realistically, all you have to do every day is log in. You don't even have to do your dailies, because your dailies usually don't give you anything significant. Like, gives you some crystals or whatever, right?
Dueling Crest, 200 feathers, and I think like 3,000 crystals, something like that.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that. And when a new quest comes out, you can blow through story within 5-10 minutes, because it's just like 3 rounds, hardly any dialogue. And then you could just do the quest for it within, like, again, another 5-10 minutes, and that's it. Like, the game doesn't have any modes or anything there right now that you can constantly make progress in, and you feel like every single day you've made a step forward for your characters, your heroes, and whatnot. Like, you just feel good about it because you're like, I'm doing something. Right now, the game just feels like every single day, like, I come in to get stuff, and then, yeah, that's not very good.
I like Lib's idea of allowing you to fight your friends' teams.
Right, that would be great. Something that you could
for the
perpetually
friends
do.
list.
Instead of randomly encountering them in AA.
Yeah.
You just outright just fight them.
Yeah.
That way, when people talk, they're smack me like, no, my unit's best. Well, put it up. Beat it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You should read Dingo's donation, because that's actually like a good point.
What, the Blazing Summons from Dragalia Lost would be a cool addition and a reason to grind. Well, I have no idea what that is, considering I can't play the game.
I'll explain. Like,
Thank you, Sirius. Yes, go ahead.
So in Dragalia Lost, you do raids, and these items called Blazons drop, right? And they're used for a special summon during the event that pulls from, like, it's like a box with a limited amount of rewards in it, right? And so you cycle through, and everything that's in that box, as long as you keep summing on it, you're gonna get it. The big draw with the Blazon summons in Dragalia Lost is that they put with this one they put a 5-star dragon in it. Granted, it's not like a very good dragon, but it's still a 5-star dragon. And the amount that you get enough of this dragon to fully upgrade it. So that's something that you can work towards, and it's something that's gonna help you throughout the rest of the game, no matter what.
I love ideas like that. That's one of the reasons why I think Azure Lane's so addictive. Another gacha game, because every single day I'm working towards something. Like, I'm making progress on every one of my ships, and it feels good. And the problem with this game is they've messed up on levels. You should never be able to get to 40 within like an hour or something. It should have been something that you work towards, and then they should have had things that you could work towards in your characters. Like, it shouldn't just be like, oh, you can learn this skill after so much SP. It should have been like, you know, you can, and the inheritance system and stuff, like, it was kind of a good idea, but if you could, like, if there was a currency like gold and you learned, and then with that you can learn skills, like you grind for gold and you use gold to like buy weapons skills, like typical RPG stuff. I think they were scared of like having too much depth in the game, but as a result, you don't really feel like you do much.
Yeah, and then like Nag said right now, like it's not just the dragon in the Blazon summon. It's like you're getting all these useful materials, you're getting currencies, and that's gonna help you do other stuff too. So there's always that feeling of progression that FEH just doesn't have.
And the problem is they do have currency in this game, right? They have like arena medals, they have like refining stones and divine dews and sacred coins, but they're very, very singular in use.
And most of them are just useless.
Right.
Yep. Like, I like those 100 lights blessings you have there.
Yeah, TGV? Go ahead.
I was gonna say what I do like from Dragalia Lost is they have daily item spawns, where one day for free.
Oh yeah,
get random items. I think that'd be nice. Like if you
that
get
would
like,
be nice. If
crest,
our items are useful.
Arena crest, you know, all the other items that are usable. Not something valuable, of course, but like, you know, the common stuff, or like
I'd like
the
more arena
uncommon
crests.
stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
I'd like another resource for arena
daily
crests,
quests
personally.
that only comes like once a week.
I would like to say that when I first played FEH, I feel like being a noob of the game was more interesting than playing it now because for how much they added to it. Because there's certain units that I enjoyed, like since like nobody was like that broken, or like unless you're like having like Hector, Takumi, and junk. Like, I feel like when I was like a noob to the game, there was like more for me to actually enjoy. But like after they added like more things, I feel like I was beginning to lose interest. I enjoyed using Olwen a lot, but like now like I get a lot of stuff because of using her, because of the skill inheritance and junk. Like she was way good without skill inheritance before. There's all the quadding and everything, but now just I can't.
I still try, and sometimes I succeed. Like, I still use my Olwen, but it's nowhere near as easy on the earlier units to even have a chance at being useful. And there's just nowhere near the amount of diversity you would want with your many summoned units, unless you apply restrictions to yourself in order to make sure that you're using your units equally at any given time.
Yeah. I still remember when my friend quit the game when Skill Inheritance first came out. He was like, the game's dead now. And I thought it was kind of crazy. I obviously didn't quit. I mean, I'm still here. But it did make sense. It made a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
The game, as a result, after Skill Inheritance, really dulled down. Instead of like trying to use every hero, because with Skill Inheritance, right, you no longer have as big of a need for specialized heroes, because every skill, like instead of having only say threat and defense on say on a parry, you can now put it on anybody else. So while before parry would be like your debuffer, I know right now it's you're like, okay, but that's like, you know, 3 defense or 4 defense or whatever, and that's nothing. But back in the day, that made such a big difference. Back in the day, when you had a hero fight another hero, it didn't end in one round. It took several rounds. You had to like chip at them and kill them slowly. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I one round them now and we move on to next target, right? The game,
like Hector or something.
Yeah, that's why I missed about the game, because the game back then, you know, you had to use more characters and you had a lot more use out of their individual skills. But now it's like, you just use whoever.
And some units are almost definitively better. I remember doing that. I think I had to like give my Lind an attack buff in order to make sure that she one-shot Takumi, otherwise I couldn't beat him. I remember those days. And now you look at Takumi and you're like, why is he even in this game?
I remember I used to think the Veronica boss battle was hard. I mean,
she was hard.
Like, yeah, like I couldn't pass her for like a few times. Like I had to use a light blessing. That's how like hard it was for me before.
Light's
like,
blessings had a point.
Underleveled.
Yeah.
But like now all these new unisys change everything. Like I like one-shot Veronica now when I used to not be able to do that with my Lynn or Hector.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that Veronica's easy. I'm not so sure, though. I'm kind of curious as to how the original Tempest trial would fare today. I still think that it would have
Imagine a
some
whale
challenge to
like
it,
me that
but-
has
It'd
done
be way
everything in this
longer.
game. Every
Yeah.
week nowadays, I only do arena and AA
No,
for an
even
hour
with
every
Tempest
week
Trials, they've
and
done
left
so
with
much
nothing to
nerf
do
its
at all.
difficulty that at
Moreover,
this point
all
it's just,
66 of my
"Yay,
plus
here
10
you go,
heroes
here's
can't
some
be
stuff.
used anywhere else.
Grind up to
I
top
just
1K
wish
if
there
you
is a
want,
mode for
but
me to be
you're
able to
probably gonna
use
be done
them.
within the first couple days anyways.
I usually stop after I
We
get
need to
on
have
my
a better
suit.
system because when you guys are talking, you guys don't recognize that there's a donation going on. So, you like the bot talks and you talk, and then it's very hard to like hear either of you guys. So we have to like figure out like how to signal you guys that's happening.
Well, I watched the stream, so whenever a donation does come up or something like that, I stay quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, only problem is they come in like a couple of seconds delayed, so sometimes it can be a little.
Oh,
Plus, I can hear it through them side, so.
just tell them to be quiet, Sasufa. Wow. Hey guys, you're in the middle of a conversation. Shut up. No.
Shut your mouth.
But I'll just repeat what
Donation
Bagel
go.
said. He says, imagine a whale like him who has done everything in the game. Every week, he basically just plays arena and arena assault for an hour, and there's nothing else to do. He has 66 heroes who are plus 10, but they can't be used anywhere else.
God.
Yep.
Yikes.
And he just wishes there was a mode for him, and I completely understand.
That's a whale complaining. The person giving this company money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you upset the whales, you have a problem.
Now you gave heroes $120.
I'm not super upset because I'm like I would call myself a true whale. I call myself like a selective whale, but even I'm like.
Wait, what do you call yourself?
What's a substance? A selective whale. Basically, I whale on certain things. I don't whale on everything. Like I'm only plus 10, 5-star.
The time to level your unit is just too quick, and most of the skills you wanted to give are locked behind the gacha rather than the unit itself. Also, the skills are too easy to learn. SP is just isn't enough to make
But
it
yeah,
feel like you
basically,
really commit
when
as
the
much.
people who spend money, an enormous amount of money, are like worse than substance.
As you say.
By giving me just buns with no meat, I want an actual bird. That's when you're like, hey, problem. Fix your game.
I think but the one thing that I like about our chat today is that I think IS knows this. I think they know the frustrations of their players at this point.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
Oh, they know, but they have to like, we know the problem.
They have a window. That's the problem. They only have a window to fix this before they lose people.
My turn?
You know, as a streamer, I know this very well because as soon as somebody decides, oh, well, you know, I don't like your stream anymore, you don't get a second chance. They leave. They don't come back and check out your game or your stream for however long, or if ever. So it's really dangerous to lose a group of people because they just make up their minds and that's it.
Also, I'm gonna bring up to Really Lost again. That's a really good game that's made by the same company and has a lot of similar like mechanics in it, I guess. So like I don't like. I'm not gonna like. At some point, something else is gonna come around. That's gonna take away all these Heroes players that are fed up with the state of the game. It's just gonna come and it's gonna take them away from our guys. And that's just gonna be it.
I believe that too.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely. I'm not sure what their time process is on making, but they gotta make changes.
We have a question. Careless Dragon says, which unit is that's not in the game would you want them to add to heroes? And I'll just say go first.
Louis.
Nacella. I want the Raven Lord here. I always thought he was so cool back in Radiant Dawn, but really I just want another type of hero. that's basically it.
I just want them to make one last Shadows of Valencia banner. I feel like that one more banner from that game would be enough to have me satisfied for that entire time. But IS seems to really like pushing out Celica, and that's it.
We have no limits to this question. It's just a unit that's playable in
Wait, a
I
unit that's
guess.
what?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, is there any limits to this question, or can I just pick any unit that's not currently in the game?
I
It
guess
just
you
says
can pick
unit
any
not in the
unit.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I would want Braum. because that's basically
As you say.
Nephi's partner.
Okay, yeah, do my best.
But also from Shadows of Valencia, I do want.
Silken Cliff.
One thing that's getting to me right now that I'm thinking about: why in the world don't we have the option of
Let's go. Okay.
dead characters? You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean by that?
like,
Yeah, man, give me Ike's mom.
yeah, Ike's father in his prime using a sword, Grail with a sword, not with an axe.
Yes.
Like, the game
do
can
have
go
characters
there.
that have died.
What?
We do have characters that have died.
I give them around
And
2 months
are dead
before
as
I
of that
finally
time,
quit and
as
delete
their
my
time
save
frame
data.
heroes.
If you want my data, I will give it
I
to
don't know
you
if I want
now.
to say who because they might be spoilers,
Wow,
but we
we
do.
I think it's more like the like these dead characters that we've never seen before and that we haven't had the chance to like play
To
as.
actually play as, yeah, I
Oh,
can
yeah,
get
yeah.
that.
I would definitely
Right.
want Mikoto. Cause I was sad when she died in Fate.
I'm already considering dropping fake use of this BS. I've spent too much into this game to just shat on my
Yeah,
face.
I really do
Give me
like
better picture with
GHBs
Zephiel's
and
sword
making
sticking out
antagonists
of
playable
him.
in particular. You don't get to play as them else. Like, you don't get to use Grima in any other Fire Emblem title. If you were to say that in any
Orders,
other game,
please.
that'd be seen as stupid. But in Heroes, you're just allowed to use the final boss of another game. And no problems. Like, that's pretty empowering, but at the same time, it's just, why?
Okay.
Can we have more of this?
Say.
Do my best, yeah.
Also, Bigo, don't quit. I think 2 months, you have a lot of time, and also I already have access to a whale count. I know when people hear me say these things, they're like, Nim, you talked about this, and you guys don't think it's like such a big deal, but it is.
As you say.
I've known so many people who quit this game at this point. But real quick, I think within 2 months we'll have a change that's worth mentioning.
Yes.
I believe IS has been slow enough that something has to happen within 2 months. I think you should stay at least till Christmas. Yeah, you're doing that. So yeah, to see if they've
I would
learned.
say Chris
Orders,
would be the
please.
best.
Book 3, that's probably going to be when they decide to make the most changes.
As
That's
you
when
say.
they do make the most changes.
next?
So we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good change. That's all I can say.
Also, what I was really talking about was like exploring characters that were never around, that you literally know nothing about. Is what I wanted
yeah.
to see. Like
They
say
did that
Hector's brother Uther. You don't know anything about him. The game could explore. The FEH could explore that because we're going back to any timeline at any point for the heroes. So why not?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea.
I do want to say,
Alright.
they've done that though in this game already. Like they did it with Grima, in my eyes, anyways. Like they took this guy that all we knew he's a villain, right? They gave him some kind of character
My
in
turn.
the form of this game. Same thing with Garen to some extent.
Orders, please.
Yeah, I
Wait.
think that they, well,
I get it. That does make sense, but I think they need to like the way they did that. I guess you're right, but at the same time, like they're not really going that far out of reach. Like I'm saying, like completely characters that you would know nothing about.
Yeah, and
that
like
the most you heard about.
Yeah, and like a lot of the character that these two were given, Grima and Garen, a lot of that was given to them by the heroes community.
yeah.
So like I know where you're.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Three houses coming soon. It could be something.
Oh no, once 3 Houses and Smash come out, those are gonna be
I'm not
Yeah.
excited for Three Houses. The writer is the same one who wrote Fates.
crap.
Wait, what? Wait, Yumi, are you being serious? I can't tell.
I'm being serious.
As
It's
you
the
say.
same writer.
Yeah, but why would you be excited for that?
I'm not excited.
Oh,
I
I'm
just
not excited for that. That's a problem.
okay, good. I mean,
Yes. Who next?
no. I had so
My
much
turn.
hope.
Do my best.
It's gone.
Yeah, after I told a few people that like they ended up losing hope. Sorry.
No, that is literally the point where it's just why. I don't know. Who writes Heroes, by the way? That's what I want to know.
also, when is Three Houses coming out? Because I have the game
Please.
pre-ordered.
Yes.
Actually, the game, I had to pre-order it from Amazon America. It does not even show up on Amazon Canada.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that means it's nowhere near released to the fact that it doesn't even show up. That's one concern.
Should be very soon.
Wait, very
We've got some-
soon?
Wow.
Yes.
2019.
Okay, that's not very soon.
That's
I don't know
all we
if
know.
it's
It's 2019.
As you say. My
Because that
turn.
was a lot of
Who
long
next?
time.
No, they kind of put 3 houses beneath the what?
Wait, spring 2019? I still can't pre-order it. You guys know that, right? It's driving me insane.
Yep.
Do my best.
Huh. I have hopes,
Yes.
but I don't have high hopes. That's all I can really say right now. Looks
Hey,
good at
man.
least.
If this is indeed true and the story's not that great, at least Fate's will be a better story.
I really hope that they don't go lower than Fates. For the love of
Wait,
please don't.
Also got a question.
DSA.
Do my best.
DSA says written by Fates writers. Well, I'm out. Art style is too distracting for me anyways. Wait, how do you go to art style from whatever? You should try it anyways. Dingo says Canada problems. Well, yeah, it's dumb. Lip
Yep.
says so. There's the system in old school RuneScape where community vote decides the changes coming in the game.
All right.
I would read the rest of your comment, but the devs here are not that open. For like Azur Lane, the devs have their own Discord. You can talk to the devs, or at least talk to staff members of the game like directly in real time. So
IS isn't that open. They're a direct company beneath Nintendo. They're not open.
Orders.
They're
please.
open, but they're not that open.
Who next?
Not even close.
But yeah, if we could ever have such a straight up channel with IS, I think we'd get a lot done. But no, I don't think they're that open. I think like the developers in Japan, they don't really understand. They don't look at international. I don't think they do really.
I don't.
Fair. If we did, if IS did open up, I can't imagine and feedback any at all.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like
As you say.
that would be opening up a very large can of worms.
The thing is, like for other games, it's not that bad.
Well, to
at
be
all.
fair, this Faye is pretty big compared to some of those other ones. Even if they do some things done better than Faye, they're still not as big.
Well, being bigger and all, the thing is, I think you guys are thinking about like, everybody's just gonna point out these same things and beat them over the head about it, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could just go through a vote, you know, about what issues are critical. Like it doesn't have to be like, literally everybody arguing like, you know, staff members. That's like anarchy. That's not what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I just want realistically, if they were to open up, they'd have to be very careful about how they do it. Otherwise, they're gonna be. That being said, I do want to know more about their creative process. That's the main thing. I want to know what's going through their minds when they're making decisions, and whether or not they think they're making the right decisions, or if they're just being pinned to the wall with this sort of stuff. I'd really like to see more of that, but I also know that a company has to be very privy sometimes when it comes to what decisions they have made and haven't made, as well as what content they're making or decided not to make. It can be a very annoying situation.
Angel says, do you think the problem with FEH is the lack of content or the lack of gameplay when all you have to do is just put stupid skills on armor units and go into arena? It's like a fundamental problem with them at this point that they've backed themselves into, but it is actually both. The lack of gameplay and lack of content.
Yep. Yeah, a little column A, a little column B.
What I define as content, by the way, guys, is like things to do in the game, not directly tied to gameplay. This game really thinks summoning is all we need, but like the story is one of the big things they could be working on, and to have more interactions with your characters would be one of the biggest things you could do. Right now, we get the characters and we just like tap on them. We listen to what they have to say, and that's like the extent of interactions we have with the characters. Forging bonds is something new, but there really should be more you could do with them than just use them, and even using them is kind of limited, but there should be like extra things you could do. Like in say Fates, in Fates we could like pat them. I'm not saying that's what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for extra things you could do with the characters.
Yeah, not too much, because I obviously realize they can't make title, you know, to the same extent as a DS title, Switch title. They have to cut some corners in order to keep things from being too much like a AAA title. That's just the way it works, especially with data storage. Don't do light mode. But at the same time, I feel like they need to throw something in there in order to make the characters feel a little more alive and make it so you're more likely to actually want to use your, in my case, 125 star units. Like, they just sit there.
Yeah.
Half of them just sit there and don't exist.
That's why I think Forging Bonds is such an excellent thing that they put in the game, but they need to do that for more characters.
Oh yeah. I think that Forging Bonds is a great step in the right direction, especially like the first one was very generic.
Yeah.
But
the last one was good because they really worked up Nina in the barrel thing and finding the tea, and that was a more cohesive story. Instead of like going out and fighting some random force that's attacking us for no reason again, or like minimal reason, like, oh no, we can't tell them that we're not on the enemy side. Now we have to fight to the death. That's so dumb. But like finding some tea or something, like that's a lot more reasonable of something that you would do with these heroes. So yeah, I really appreciate the last one.
Yeah, I thought that was a very nice step in the characters. The only problem is, it's only the 4 characters in that particular Forging Bonds event, and Forging Bonds is supposed to only apply to new heroes as of now. So, characters that we've seen before really don't get much more personality or fleshing out, which is really unfortunate because I feel like there are some characters that desperately need as much character as they can get. That's actually, unfortunately, because of writing, important for heroes. Like Garen, Grima, they need all the writing they can get because they had none of it to begin with. Not Corrin, realistically, they're just self-inserts, but yeah. No, I feel like that Forging Bonds is a great step, or, whoops,
yeah.
in
Need more substance.
Yeah, they need more substance for the characters, so you don't feel like you're just there, you know, like hero merit fodder or cannon or something. Give them some actual. I feel like that would very much go to make it more of a Fire Emblem title than just a gacha.
And guys, I just want to say this one more time. This isn't really whining about the game. It's just, you know, expectations not being met, and that, you know, what our hopes are, or the things that they could do to address what we are looking for. In my first year of playing this game, I had virtually nothing negative to say. Like, I thought everything was really good. And if you think about it, in the first year, you know, it was an amazing year because that's when we started out. We didn't even have skill inheritance. So, yeah, and then they introduced like new Grand Hero battles, and everything was just so fresh and new. Obviously, the game is not going to be able to live up to everything they got. Like, one of the greatest modes that we got in the first year was Arena Assault, and that might sound really weird, but imagine, because back then, like, we were just going through Arena using the same heroes, and then IS listened, and then we got Arena Assault, and then we can use all our heroes in. It's just that in the second year, that we haven't really gotten anything nearly as good as the first year, and that's led to a lot of frustration and people getting bored.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this past year has been, in many ways, a slowdown from the more, like, wide open, this is the first stuff you get to see, like, everything's new sort of thing. I feel like that model has died out for a lot of veteran players, and I feel like everything they're adding in is, like, you hype about it for a week, maybe sometimes Forging Bonds is story more, and then suddenly, poof, gone. Now you're just back to grinding again, and it's like, I feel like there needs to be more to substantiate for this content drought in order for heroes to keep up as something you want to play consistently, as opposed to just grinding during events.
Right, and the problem of all of this is that it doesn't have to be this way. Like, we just talked for 2 hours and we came up with a bunch of new ideas. It's nothing that difficult, but for whatever reason, IS is taking their sweet time here.
Yeah, but I just writing more than I agree.
The writing. Yeah. The problem with the writing is they don't need to do it like this. They could hire a real writer and they can make a real comprehensive story. I think they're really afraid that people don't want story, which makes no sense to me. They have the skip button up there. If people don't want the story, they can skip through it. what they should be doing is like giving a proper writer and building up like a actual tale to go through. I mean, most chapters, guys, is just first chapter of the game, a bit of like some story, like 10 lines, and every other part of it's like 2 lines for just so the characters can like talk about themselves briefly, and that's it. And then the final part of the chapter, you know, you have a bit more lines. That's not a real story. It's not like it just goes from point A to the end. Basically, that's basically how story is now. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I feel like the story in particular tends to be very dry. Like, sometimes I feel like I can almost enjoy it, especially with 2, but at the same time, it is nowhere near the story levels that we've seen in actual Fire Emblem titles.
Oh yeah.
Even the DS ones, Fate's Awakening, at least had a little more depth, even if they weren't well written in the slightest, particularly Fate's. But what?
Quick interjection: Libs is having issues with the orb thing in Twitch.
Libs, try and check it now. Can anybody else check their orb count? Because I have everything up. It should be working.
Yeah, I've been getting this entire time.
I've been doing it fine.
If everybody is fine, it might just be you, Libs, and I have no idea. Can you guys confirm that you guys are getting more orbs?
Yeah, I've been counting my orbs up this stream, actually. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
You guys should try Dragalia Lost, man. I would love to.
Canada.
As you say.
I can't tell you how many times I've played Dragalia Lost. Now as I'm playing that, I'm like, wow, this would be really cool and fast.
The stupid problem is, I mean, it's not even a problem. Why can't they do it? They're the same company. They could use the same ideas. It wouldn't be very tough.
Systems isn't spearheading Dragalia, if I remember correctly. Nintendo is involved in both of them, but it is still a difference between Intelligent Systems.
No, there is, but they don't, like, it would be easy to, like, take an idea and move it through. You wouldn't need to jump through some hoops. Like, it wouldn't be a competing game. You know, it's the publisher for both of them is the same.
Yeah, no, I think that they could definitely just take some of those ideas and modify them for FEH, but at the same time, for whatever reason, they don't. I'd just like to know personally why these things are happening. I'd like to actually know what's going through this company right now to make these decisions. That's personally my thing. Like, I don't know if it has to do with just being thinned down on resources, being pressured by barriers, whatever it is. Something is not quite up to snuff.
Okay, I want to know how many people are actually like working on this game.
Well, that's a good question.
I don't think it's very many. Because like Valve, they run CS:GO and they run TF2. Those are some like CS:GO is one of the biggest esports. It's one of the biggest player-based games. And Valve's like, it's a very small amount of people. So I'm wondering if like that could be the same case with FEH.
Yeah, Intelligent
that is
Systems
such a good point.
Company.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's the same devs. I'm pretty sure.
Who next?
I don't think this team is actually very big.
I don't think so either, because don't forget they have to divide their resources right now between FEH and Three Houses, as well as any other projects they're working on. Like, they were working on Shadows of Valencia and pushed that out while FEH was being released, so obviously they're splitting up between different projects, which begs the question, with a company as small as theirs, how are they even managing that? And what's being risked as a result of this? Like, Shadows of Valencia is a legitimately good game. I just want to know how much of their effort did they have to put into it in order to make it work, and how much of that is deprived from Fire Emblem Heroes.
I hope they don't have the same team, and furthermore, if you think about it, what would 40 people do if you have 40 employees for Fire Emblem Heroes? Like, how much stuff could they get done? You know, I think that would be a lot more. There would be no way that we're getting so few modes, because they would have tons of people going through these concepts, developing them at the same time. And if you think about handling banners and stuff, that doesn't take too much time. It doesn't take too many groups of people. Like, yes, setting up artists, setting up voice actors, that takes an agency, but that, like, it'll take a lot of time to do it, but like the actual amount of time to put it all together, not that much.
Yeah, that's kind of my main thing. Like, I'm personally very much, and what I'd really like to know is how many how much manpower is actually needed to make a game like this and make it consistently good. How much are they being understaffed, or are they just overstaffed or properly staffed with terrible decisions? Is that the case, or are they just really thin?
Okay.
My issue is like the story for book 2 like, actually started off okay, right? But then kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
It just comes down to bad writing. Like it's not even decent writing, it's just bad writing. Find a decent writing and a better story written like maybe a couple hours.
And keep in mind, like how Bruno showed up, said like three lines, did absolutely nothing, and that's it.
Yep.
Like what the hell are they doing? And when we captured Leg Yarn, we did nothing with it. She just ran off like it was a red herring. It's like they had some kind of idea and they immediately gave up on it.
Okay.
It's just so strange.
My turn? Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was a very... Well, the story in particular, I can't even put that down to staff or anything. That was just bad writing.
Please.
That's not excusable.
Who next?
Other things, I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
But I feel like the writers were definitely not up to snuff with what should be required even remotely for a mobile title, or any title for that matter.
There's that. There's a lot of conflict with it.
It's just confusing what they're doing at this point. Yeah, go ahead.
Also,
Yeah.
compare this to Dragalia Lost again. Dragalia Lost, it has a simple story, the writing's fine, the characters are fine.
Show me a smile.
It's another case of, oh, we could have this in Fae, but we don't because they just don't want to.
Also, speaking of, I really like how they handled the lore.
Wait, what?
The visual character lore in Dragalia Lost.
Yeah, like it's great. Like the graphics are great, everything about the game is great so far. Except the Gather problem.
The only thing I don't like is that the main character looks exactly like Shulk.
Generic anime protagonist of the year, number...
As you say.
But since Nim, you haven't played it, to basically explain how it works. When you summon a character, you get like a part A for their story, and then you basically have to upgrade to get more.
How about a
of their
dance?
story. And each
That'll
character
cheer you up.
has it.
They do something like that in Fate Grand Order. And also, guys, they don't really have to steal these ideas because these are just like very open ideas in other games. They could, IS could literally do any of this stuff and they'd be fine with it. They wouldn't have any, legal repercussions or whatnot, and they would improve the game a lot. So I get these ideas. Like it's in Fate Grand Order as well, where you can unlock story. Like you'll have bonding moments after by using the characters more. But yeah, it's why don't we have it?
That's a very good question at this point. In terms of character development, at most, I think it's just because they are encouraging you to go and actually play Fire Emblem titles, but even then, what they do is subpar.
Yes. Who next?
Hey King Pluto, I've read that comment, but we talked about padding characters earlier, so I didn't want to say it again.
My turn?
There's one thing I like to say, and this is the only thing I will complain about in fact, is that some of the art, I really don't like it at all. Like Olivia, like the original Olivia, her art is kind of decent, but like kind of gross at the same time.
Kind of gross. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that some of the, especially the earlier art, Faye had some pretty weird times with them. I can only imagine what it was like gathering the original artists and original voice actors for everything, because there was not much reputation to it, and they were just kind of going around and seeing what they could get their hands on, and then pushing out content using what they could get it for. They had no real ties to anybody outside of their first official artists. So I can imagine that for like Akira, for example, who's very stylized, it's a huge leap that did not have good results. But over time, I feel like most of the art has gotten better consistently.
And I don't think they can replace the art either.
Oh no, they can.
Yeah, I wish like they had like a skin or something, like instead of like making seasonal, like you could get skins as well. The thing that made me really upset is May's art. Like she like looks like a little girl with huge boobs, but that's because her artist is a hentai artist.
I mean, a lot of these guys are hentai artists.
Here we had a running joke with Summer Frederick. The guy who did the art for Summer Frederick was a BL artist.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense when you think about it.
It does. They employ some very interesting artists when it comes to some of these characters.
But like that variety is usually like it's a good thing. Like we got all these different characters that have the different art style. It's great. I love it, and I think most other people do as well.
Oh yeah.
Summer Corn is made by an ecchi artist.
That's not surprising either, given her art.
Listen, man, you can talk about all these artists, but where's Hakan? I have not seen this artist in God knows how.
I think the last one Hakan did was
Nefne.
Nefne. Yeah, that artist is great.
They also did Awakening
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, most of the art in this game is very good, and they do employ some legitimately. Like, once they got Soide Pei on the work, I think that people just hype up his art more than anybody else. Especially because that's one thing I really do like about Faye. Some of the artists, voice artists, and visual artists have a community built around them. So if you like Dorcas's artist, is Soide Pei. If you check his Twitter, he is pretty active with his community there and is always making his own version of fan art. I check it out. But that's what I kind of like about it. They're so diverse with their artists that while some of them are just your run-of-the-mill, like generic stuff you'd expect from a game developer, some of them are actually really cool people, both in their art style and in their actual personal life, personality. And that's what I especially like about it. Sometimes, though, the art can be hit. I'm looking at you, Lily. But...
Something I want to see. Something I want to see them do. I want to see them bring like outsourced community and bring in community artists. Like,
that happens in other games, so
like,
it would be great.
Because like there are tons of artists on like the Faye Reddit. Like I'm on there a lot. And there's all these great artists. They're great, and like the style like we've seen, they all have different style, but there's so many different styles in Faye that fit right in.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that some of the fan artists in Faye are perfectly on standard. Some of them more so than others. Some are really good when it comes to actual professional standard for Faye, and I think that they would very much benefit from that sort of thing. Like an art contest, for example. They tell you to draw your favorite character, and whoever has the best art is employed for Fire Emblem Heroes as an artist for maybe one hero or something. That would be a really cool way both to build the community and to display some fantastic artwork, because that's probably one of the biggest things about Faye is that art, that voice talent. It makes these characters that are so dead come to life, because like Fate's Awakening stuff, for example, they already had voice actors, they already had high definition games, but if you like go to Shadows of Valentia, not Shadows of Valentia, like Shadow Dragon, or even further back, Genealogy of the Holy War, they had no voice acting. Their art was anywhere from subpar to literally Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
They had nothing to build off of. But then the artists come in and they make some fantastic redesigns to make them fit a modern style while also being familiar. And then the voice acting that they employ for that particular unit actually really does a good job at making that character feel alive. Yeah. And goes a long way to make those particular heroes feel belonging to some people and makes it feel more proper to form a connection with them. That's pretty much how I feel. That's what I love about the artists that they employ and what units they bring in. And even with the ones that have already been in, like Garen, for example, now that you're putting finally.
Yeah.
His art and voice acting are fantastic, even if, well, his voice actor changed, but even if Garen already had a modern role. But that being said, just hearing this character in less of a cutscene format and having this art that is not technically from the game, this artist is also Soide Pei. Seeing their spin on the character and the voice lines they choose for that character is very fascinating, I feel, to add just a little more personality and life to that unit. Sorry about that tangent.
What? That's fine.
There's one thing I like to bring up is Lachesis.
Yeah, there are some bad ones though. Lachesis. She looks like a lolly, even though she isn't, and she doesn't sound like a...
She has a mom voice. I mean, Nana
Nothing
looks
about it
older
makes
than her.
Yep.
Like,
Seriously, what happened?
looking at her official art, like the cipher art or whatever it's called,
That's
her art
proper.
looks so great. But then looking at her heroes art is like just really shiny, young. It's like, but their tier 1 healers that like they first introduced, like they're all little girls.
Yep. It's so weird. Some of the art is fantastic at promoting characters that otherwise don't have that kind of stuff. Some of them, I'm looking at you, May, do not fit their character whatsoever. And unfortunately, even if the art quality is good, the actual attention to the character is not. And sometimes the art is outright bad.
I do enjoy that they switch up the artists sometimes, like with Tharja. Like, okay, her first art was kind of but Christmas Tharja is a bit of an upgrade, but then when it comes to Bridal Tharja, she's just really pretty. I love the art so much. It's just like shiny, like the colors fit well and everything.
Yeah, that artist definitely did a good job at interpreting Arya's entire personality and applying it into a bridal format. And that's probably one of my personal favorite seasonal designs, even if it is technically Tharja and whatnot. Blah, 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 blah. Awakening
Like the Summer Camilla.
To be fair, though, Summer Camilla is probably... I'm as fine as I can possibly get with that much fan service when it comes to her.
I'm kind of curious. Do you guys have any opinion on like the chibi versions of these heroes, like the sprites?
I think the one I really don't like is Ellie Woods because it does not sync with this art at all.
I'm just curious because like some of them I think are really good. Like I think Legendary Tiki, she has a great sprite. Same with like Athena. And then some of them just kind of look awkward. Like I think Alm's sprite looks really awkward.
Yeah, sometimes the translation to sprite is a little awkward, and sometimes the sprite artist and the actual artist don't communicate.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Camus' art versus the sprite art, it's not the same design.
If you look at the lines on Ellie Wood's little cloak thing, they're not the same either. I don't know if anyone else noticed that little detail that I did.
Yeah, there's some definite inconsistencies with some of the character artwork, especially the more generic ones, where they just... What happened when they were communicating? Some things just got lost in translation, some things got out-changed. But most of the chibi artwork is pretty good, and in some cases, I prefer it. Like Legendary Tiki. That smile is horrifying, but if you look at her sprite, it's perfectly fine.
All right, just to wrap things up, because we've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes, I gotta do a few other things. Like I love formats like this. That's why I think it would be great to have a podcast, because it'll be more structured. I mean, this is really casual talking, which is fine. But yeah, it'd be great to that's what the stream was about, guys. I guess we just talked about a lot of the topics you guys mentioned instead of just putting on for a podcast, but whatever. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to get the podcast up. So if you guys have any ideas or whatnot for topics, drop in suggestions. I think we try to take a few of yours right now from the stream, but I'm pretty sure we miss a lot. So if you haven't joined our Discord already, the link is in the description, or you scroll down on Twitch. But yeah.
If you're okay with me making an announcement already, I can get people to DM me with ideas.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good. It'd be great to actually have like 2 messages up, and for the GHB thing as well.
Oh yeah, if anybody has a GHB run, particularly the Abyssals, or even the newer Infernal ones, if you want to submit that, just give us the heads up, we'll take a look at it, and we'll possibly review it when it comes time for the podcast. It'd be a good time to see what you guys are pulling out for your own strategies.
Frenzy, you're totally right. I think I skipped over yours. Yours was one I skipped over. He said the time to level your units too quick, and most of the skills you want to give are locked behind the gacha rather than unit itself. Yep. Also, the skills are too easy to learn. SPS just isn't enough to make it feel like you commit as much. Yep.
I just want to be able to buy my skills.
The thing is, with manuals now, why are we not like buying manuals for certain skills? Like you could totally do that for arena medals or something. Like 500 medals for like a certain skill. Where like level 1 of the skill is like, let's say Fury 1 is like 500 medals, and then Fury 3 is like, you know, 1,500 or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I first saw it. I was thinking, you know, they're introducing these combat there a very easy way for you to get the manual rather than the unit? Why isn't Intelligent Systems making that possible? Why are we just making our manuals rather than exchanging for actual skills? It's such an easy opportunity that they're not capitalizing on it. Yeah. Is Encounter Manual anybody?
No, that's a bit far. I think small skills will work out, but like big skills, that's a bit messy.
What about
Yeah.
dual manuals?
What about what?
Dual manuals.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not sure if they want to go that big, but yeah, that would be great.
I've never
Yeah.
used a dual skill before. How good are they?
Wait, dual skills?
I never used them before.
They're arena critical basically.
Yeah, I
But
mean, they don't
otherwise they're pretty bad.
they don't really
I don't
make a
even do
difference.
arena, so.
If you're not invested in arena, dual skills are almost meaningless. But if you are invested in arena, they can make a big difference.
I have a +9 Carlo and I'm in tier 9.
All right, let's raid Smelly. She's doing her 1,000 person special stream.
Yay.
Congrats to Smelly.
Nice.
1,000 followers. Can we decide on something to save ahead of time instead of like butchering this, guys?
Yeah, who wants to coordinate this raid?
Yeah.
Bench Hannah.
Congr-
Do it.
Congratulations. Wait, I call her daddy because she told me to call her daddy one time, and I called her daddy ever since. Vroom vroom, such a lame thing. Free us from the basement, no. Well, actually, she would understand that. Oh, just call her daddy, or congrats,
you go.
daddy. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yep, just alright, daddy.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna go for it. 119. 120. All right, we're gonna go for it. That's a lot of people. Wait, the stream ended there?
What?
I just checked. Fire Emblem Mobile, and it said they were there. I just got on the website. It says it's live. It says it's.
Poggers, dude.
It says it's live. What the fuck?
Wow. That raid fell on dead ears.
How much were we off by? It says
Yeah, when did
7:31 p.m. No, it's been
What?
streaming since 7:31 p.m. Wait, how much were we off by then?
When did they stop?
Yeah.
What is your time? Is it Eastern, Central, Pacific?
You have to refresh. I just went on the website.
How off were we?
I hope it was mere seconds.
Oh, that would be amazing. Let's see here. Their stream was an hour, which means that they stopped maybe 20 minutes ago.
What the heck? I literally just went on Twitch from a new tab. All right, whatever.
Poggers.
Oops.
Oh my god. All right, whatever. Great stream, guys. See you guys next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Next time.
Turtles.